robotic delivery on her gets away with a disperse.
Some damage on the best. Stone Shield prevents almost all of the Fearless. Right.
Shadow keeps juking Real. The Real can't find the hit. Shadow's still alive.
He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the championship. He's fighting for everything he stands. Go for Shadow. The best of it. There's a bet again. It's just their game to lose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 65 of the Smite Update. My name is OctanePro, and as always, joined by my right-hand man, we do have F. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's good, Octane? How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a long weekend for you and for me. A little more stressful for you, but it's been good, I feel.
It's been absolutely fine. I mean, it's favorite part of the week, Challenger Series.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Smitten?
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
Who's this
How
lady?
you doing?
Who's this lady?
I don't know. Some scrub.
That's right. So those of you guys not familiar, our guest this week, we do have Smitten, community content creator and streamer. So welcome to the show. She'll be weighing in on all the good stuff that we have going on this week. But as always, we go around the table and go over kind of what we've been up to this week. So throw it over to you, F. What have you been up to this week in Smite and video games?
I mean, you already know, man. It's all about the Challenger Cup for me. Saturdays at North American, Sundays European. That's the other one, Europe and North America. It's obviously it's been a long week. We had total. So last week we had 420 people show up for the North American tournament. Individual, like, just crazy. And then this week, 69 entire teams. So everybody's just coming out and really like wants to be a part of it. So that's hype. I get to it's really, man, cool just to see all these people showing up and coming out. And Europe just as big. So, you know, a lot of games to watch, but busy in a good way, man. You know, just good to see that we have all these people involved and want to come out and play.
For sure, for sure. And Smitten, what about you? What have you been up to this week in Smite and other video games?
Well, I've been doing my Try Hard 5s on Wednesdays and Fridays, where I have a reserved pool of my viewers, where we just run 5-mans and just try to improve. Other than that, trying to get into the PTS server last night didn't really happen, but I'm pretty excited to play that today. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. I think that's great. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play Smite this weekend. It's kind of been a shame. I've been away doing a wedding, so I was involved with that. It was a lot of fun. Free open bar, so I can't complain there. But
Nice.
Did have a chance to play Smite, though, throughout the week with viewers, which was a lot of fun. And what's up?
When you take part in an open bar, Octane.
Sure, go for it. Let's have this discussion right now. Go for it.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Do you just get White Russians because you need your milk intake? Is that it?
That is so wrong.
Or do you just order milk straight up out the fridge?
Milk on the rocks with a splash.
There we go, baby.
No, I'm a tequila type of guy. I'm not real big on whiskey, but I'm a tequila type of guy. Sometimes on the rocks a little bit, sometimes with a little splash here and there. But believe it or not, White Russians are not my thing. I cannot see mixing any type of dairy product with alcohol. It's just not.
You're not living life correctly.
No.
White Russians are tasty, but as an ex-bartender, and if Brochacho's in the chat, I'm gonna speak on behalf of him. Don't order one at a bar. It's just too much work. Anyway, so did you have a good time on your little vacation?
I did. It was enjoyable.
You had like 7 vacations in the past 2 months.
Yeah, I've been busy. I was in Chicago a few weeks ago for a little while. Yeah, so it's calming down though. Calming down for a little bit. You know, it works out. It works out well. But it's been enjoyable. Outside of that, just been very busy with some of my newer responsibilities. So that's been fun. Since the last show, I have been involved with Mortality eSports. Some people might have read the article that was put out there.
All right,
so,
Mr. Manager.
Right?
Do you have to say it like that? Do you really have to say it like that?
Mr. Manager.
Oh. When someone calls me, can you be my assistant, please, and answer with that? That would be wonderful.
You've reached OctanePro.
Please go on.
I could do the opposite.
Yeah, right?
Like voicemail?
Yeah. So those of you guys not familiar, I am currently working with Mortality eSports, managing their Smite team. I I am very busy with that, especially with some of the more recent announcements with certain tournaments going on and with a lot of the EU stuff. It works out well for me because a lot of those guys are on during the middle of the day where I'm at work, which works out well just because I'm in the IT field, so I'm online all day long. So it works out great communicating with them and Hi-Rez and the rest of Mortality staff. So can't complain, and we'll see how that works out. So let's go ahead and kind of move into things now for the show. I want to remind everybody, if you are checking out the video version, the audio version is available on iTunes and also the Android store. If you guys want to go ahead and check it out, just look up the Smite update, and you'll see all 64 episodes up there, and this one will be up probably Monday late afternoon if you're looking for it. Also, before we jump into community news, reminder that we will be doing a gem code giveaway on our Twitter account. So please go ahead and go out to our Twitter account. I'll go ahead and post it in chat, and you can win yourself some gems that we will be giving away later on in the show. So make sure you guys do go and check that out for us. So jumping into community news for this week, it's the last chance actually to pick up the TSM Apollo skin, as that will be coming to a close here. Have either of you picked that up quite yet?
Yes. Oh my god, like the day it came out, I was like, give me them booty and the jeans, like, and that's how I got Apollo to Legendary. That's how, or at least Diamond.
Okay.
That's how I got him to Diamond, is in the TSM skin.
I brought that up the other day.
Okay.
Somebody made fun of me for picking TSM Apollo instead of Diamond Apollo, because I got that Diamond guy, and I was like, you know, somebody out there, probably Smitten, just likes this booty on this character.
Yeah, you got it. You know me too well.
You like those tight jeans, huh? You like those tight jeans.
And I mean, to be completely fair, Smitten was there at the launch tournament with me. Those dudes' jeans were actually that tight.
Right?
Young Bay's jeans might have been painted on his body.
Wow.
I was like standing backstage like...
It must be a European thing. It's gotta be. Yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, Tom, we gonna see you in some tight slacks with the suit? You gonna pull that off? Maybe.
Come on.
Well, basically,
your girl favorite.
I have the suit top, and then I just have these yoga shorts.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
like bicycle shorts. And that's just what I walk around with every day.
Off camera. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like the GQ look there, by the way. That was cute. That was cute.
Right?
That was cute.
For you.
So I have to say the Apollo skin is definitely one of my favorites. I recommend everybody go pick it up. It definitely goes ahead and gets put right back into the esports scene, which will go right into the TSM Invitational, which some details have been released for that. We'll get into that as we tap into our esports section later on in the show. But please go out there and purchase it. I think it's 600 gems, if I don't recall.
Yes. If you don't recall, you said that wrong.
Recall.
Oh, you said that. Ah, I get it. You're clever.
Moving on, EU server issues, a way to report it. Last show, we actually had the chance, we were talking about the Reddit post that had a ton of comments on it. It was well over 300 people. It was pretty much like people going ahead and complaining, and it was all put into one section regarding the EU servers, and a lot of people were up in arms about it. Well, Hi-Rez responded. So they went ahead and put together this great form that you guys can fill out if you're on the EU servers. This is not for NA. This is just for EU, and it's an opportunity for you guys to go ahead and explain in more details the problems you're having. So Hi-Rez has heard your call, they've heard your complaints, and they're looking to do something about it. So I'll go ahead and post it one more time here in chat. Make sure you guys do go there, check it out, if you have any problems moving forward. So moving on, we got last few things here. The RedEye eSports Daily. You get a chance to see this yet?
I know he posts it.
I can look at it now.
No, go for it. So this was something that came to my attention. I wasn't aware of it, to be honest with you, until I actually was tweeted at with it.
You follow my man on Twitter.
I know. Well, now I do. And so the RedEye is heavily involved in the ESL scene, and almost a someone that F. looks up to as someone within the esports scene from what you talked about some time ago. But you know a little bit more about the RedEye. Why don't you give a little bit more rundown on him while I go ahead and post this in chat?
All right. I mean, so Paul Chancellor, also known as RedEye, he works a lot with ESL. He is like one of the few people that you could really say is a veteran esports caster. And I mean, as somebody that studies I mean, when I say study, you know, don't picture old F. like poring over books in the library, but like, you know, I get my learn on with respect to proper broadcasting. You know, a lot of the things I take into my casts, you know, I learn from either people that have been mainly sports, because sports is where you broadcast, you know, or like books or whatnot. And you know, when it comes to somebody specific esports, there's not really a lot of people to learn from, and RedEye is one of the few. He recently has been putting out a monthly article that I've been taking a look at. The esport daily is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I don't exactly read it every day. Like, he's a smart dude and a cool guy, but like I don't read this every day. But it's pretty good content if you're looking for a holistic view of the esports world.
Yeah, it taps a little bit into everything, and more recently, after he started to get involved with the Smite scene at the last ESL event, he did start adding Smite into some of the articles. So, you know, check it out. There's a lot of League of Legends stuff on there, but there's also a decent amount of Smite as well. So it's a good read, especially.
So he, sorry.
No, go for it.
I just forgot the most relevant thing in this chat would be to mention that he actually hosted our European regional LAN.
That's pretty relevant.
So you might know him from there. He was the Euro Regional LAN that, of course, SK Gaming won over Team Coast. Just saying.
Just saying.
They that was RedEye doing that whole stuff with Hindu Man and Bart. Everybody that wasn't Hindu Man and Bart was RedEye was the older guy. So that's where you might know him from. That's probably the most relevant thing to actually mention.
Okay. Well, sweet. So make sure you guys do check that out in chat. I did go ahead and link this. Moving forward, last few things before we move on to community emails this week. There wasn't really a ton of community like news focused stuff, so I thought I'd give you guys a little bit more content based, hence the esports daily that we were just talking about. And there's two individuals that put together some pretty cool wallpapers, and I wanted to share them with you guys because I like to give credit where credit is due in this sense. So the first one was a handful of wallpapers that were made. I'll go ahead and swap over to full screen so you guys can check these out. These are some wallpapers that were made up with each of the god with their arts there. You have Agni in there, Danubis, Al Quang, Ares. There's a whole list of gods in here. Some really cool wallpapers. So I'm going to link this in chat for you guys to go ahead and check out. And then finally, the second one is actually part of the new Pixel Buster Freya skin, which is super cool. And this one is available out there, so I'll go ahead and post this in chat as well. Just two different sources that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys of wallpapers.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
I like minimal stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
So I can expect that you really like the first one I linked, which is more like the black with the gods kind of like towards the left or right type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, right now, like, I literally have a black screen with, like, a weird Dr. MF Doom. Don't worry about it, but it's minimal, so.
So enjoy those, to say the least. I just want to go ahead and share those with you guys. Furthermore, there was someone else in the community that put this together, which is kind of cool that they actually had the ability to do this. This is called the Smite Thriller video that did kind of come out here. It's pretty neat, to say the least. I'll go ahead and zoom in, and I'll link it in chat. You know, Kumbhakarna in there, along with some of the newer skins as well that are out. Kind of nifty to see people messing around with the Unreal Engine quite a bit. So pretty cool. I think you have Hercules back behind there holding up Geb rolled
he's
up.
He's not dancing though. He's just.
I know.
Holding.
Not at all. He's just holding. I know.
It's a Mr. Olympian statue.
Stance, yeah. Yeah. So something cool, something nifty that you don't usually see.
You know that statue, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I keep swapping over to the wrong overlay. There we go. I keep swapping over to the wrong one. So anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and put that in chat for you folks once again. Go ahead and enjoy that while you have time. And we're going to end out the community section here with actually Streamer of the Week. And this week we kind of handed it to our guest Smitten. So Smitten, who is the Streamer of the Week for everyone to go check out this week and follow?
All right, so I've been watching this guy for a couple of months now, and you guys may know him. He is on Team Thirst. It's El Brochacho. He is like the coolest guy in the world. Not only is he like super informative about the decisions that he's making while he's streaming, which I think is really, really important, really valuable. But he plays all the roles in the world, and he's kind of trolly with it sometimes, but that kind of brings the whole entertainment value to his stream. But yeah, he's super relaxed, he's super chill, and he's a really nice guy. And like, I think you guys should go check him out. Whenever I'm just kind of in the mood to chill and just hang out, and like just have something on in the background. Like I usually put him on and like play ranked or something like that. So.
Okay. Okay, well, cool. Well, make sure you guys go ahead and follow him. Check him out at some time. Give your opinion on him. I'll go ahead and put the link in chat for you folks once again. So go ahead and check him out. And thank you for Smitten for going ahead and handling that for us this week. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump into community emails. If you guys are ever interested in emailing the show, we do go ahead and read over them each week and select some of them to be read on stream. If you guys are interested in emailing the show, it is smiteupdate@gmail.com. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're going to jump into our community emails section. Each of us will read over one of these. So the first one, I'll go ahead and throw to, excuse me, F. And why don't you go ahead and read the first one?
Sure. This email is from Lil Nick, and he says, why do you think Hi-Rez is remaking most of the old gods? Like they are making a new Arachne, Ao, and so forth. Just wondering what are your thoughts. And I'm happy you use those two specific examples because they're two completely different reasons for changing them or transposing them in the case of Aokwang. Basically what happened was, so Arachne was reworked because she was absolutely useless.
Yeah.
I make the joke, and I'm hesitant on using the word joke, but I make the joke a lot that I'm just going to report you if you pick Arachne on my team. Like,
That's
in
awesome.
my eyes, that should be a bannable offense. Arachne doesn't do anything. You might get lucky with her poison early in the game, but like, team fight 40 minutes in, you're like, I'm going to go jump on your head so I die. That's all I do if I miss my pull. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Come on, F. Arachne is my main. I am so good at her. Just wait. Let me show you how good I am, man. Come on, just let me show you.
No.
I actually...
You have 10 minutes to win the game, and that's it.
Smitten knows. But so that, like, and jokes aside, Arachne was actually deplorable. She was the worst character in the game, and you could win with her. There was ways to do that, but it was absolutely, the kit was just strictly worse than others. So it had to be changed. Same with Odin. His kit was just strictly worse than others, so they changed it. The idea behind Smite, it's incredibly difficult to balance all these gods, but the idea behind it is that most of them are, and you can pick virtually any god if you personally play well enough to be successful, i.e. Vulcan and Isis. You have your Aokwangs, which are good all the time, but if you're pretty prime, you can pick Vulcan and just shoot people.
Yeah.
Like,
That's very true. It's very true.
And Arachne and Odin weren't really... Odin's still at his spot, but they were still under... They just weren't as good as some of the other gods.
Okay.
Kret wants me to say Bird Bomb. So, Bird Bomb. Actually, the official term...
I call it the meatball.
It's
the meatball.
If you guys have played on the PTS, when you activate your Odin shield and then you jump and you hit people for approximately 3,000 damage per jump, we call that... Well, Kret trademarked the Bird Bomb. So credits to Kret for the Bird Bomb. All right, that happened. And then,
oh my word.
Real quick, so the reason I talked about it being different, Arachne and Odin were changed because of balance reasons or lack thereof, and Aokwang was transposed because his kit is the same but on a different name because of lore reasons. Same thing happened to Sun Wukong and Hun Batz back in the day. The character you know as Hun Batz used to be called Sun Wukong, but they felt that it didn't really represent the Monkey King to like throw fireworks and make everybody dance. So they just made it a Mayan god. Same thing with Aokwang. For some reason, I don't know the lore, maybe we could call it Caps Lock Fury, but like the Aokwang, his whole kit of like Squall and Tornado and Slither and Big Brother Dragon didn't really fit with Aokwang, so they call him Macaulay Culkin, they make him orange, they call him Mayan, and they'll come out with Aokwang later. So two different reasons for gods to be changed.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the big one here too, a lot of the remakes as well. If you notice, like, when you look back at some of the kits that some of these gods had versus some of the kits that are coming out with brand new gods, the brand new gods are a lot more fun to play.
Exactly.
I mean, you have gods that, as time went on, gods can jump up in the air, or gods have all these cool little, like Portal, for example, like Giannis and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot, the ultimates and a lot of the kits are a lot more fun to play. So when you're looking at some of these older gods, this is just overall generalization, guys. A lot of these older gods are slowly being redone to add some really cool things back into them to spice things up a little bit. Now, granted, it's a combination.
It's just performance based.
Sure, and I agree with you there. Like, no one's playing Arachne, so there's a demand for it. It needs to get redone. I mean, Hi-Rez, doesn't want to have a god that's like bottom of the barrel that no one touches ever, unless like you have a love relationship with that god. So I can understand it for sure, to say the least. What do you got, Smitten?
Sorry, good. Well, I honestly like just a little kind of mashing your guys' comments together. Like the older gods, like they are like the only time they're really picked is like they're what's the word?
Situational.
They're situational picks, like Arachne. Like a lot of the older gods are very situational, and so that means they're not played very often, which means their stats are really low. So I really love that Hi-Rez is taking a second look at all these different gods.
Well, I mean, not all the older gods are
terrible.
I don't think it's a matter of age. A lot of people like to use this term power creep, which scares you, because basically it just means that like the gods that come out later are just better than the gods that came out earlier. But Agni picked all the time.
Right.
One of the originals
Used to be picked.
I mean, Agni's still picked. It's just that
they're like why
would you not pick
Agni when you have Janice or Scylla? You know what I mean? Like
Agni gets picked over Scylla. That's a player choice. Agni, I don't know. It depends, but you're right with Janice. Like you drop
he's top
the
tier.
and everybody.
He's top tier. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, you take a look at gods like Anhur, whom he's got everything.
Oh my
gods
word.
like Apollo, he can fly.
Yeah.
Apollo can fly. He can go to your base and fly home. He's balanced though, right? So it's not always the age of the guy.
That's true.
Right. But most of them are situational picks though. Like
Yeah,
you gotta look
agree.
at it like that.
Yep.
Like my girl Isis, love Isis. Isis isn't that old though, is she?
No.
She's not that old.
Yeah, right in between. So we'll throw it over to Smitten. Smitten, why don't you take our second question?
All right. Says, hello. First of all, I'm a big fan of the show. Keep up the great work. How do you guys feel about the Latin American teams coming to Atlanta in a easier way than EU and NA Pro teams? You feel like they are up to the challenge? Greetings, Don.
All right. What do you think?
Really, I honestly don't think there's going to be much of a difference. I mean, doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you know what you're doing, as long as your mechanics are good, as long as you know, like, when to rotate, as long as you've got, like, the basics down, like, I think anybody can compete, regardless of where you're from.
Yeah, we discussed this a lot when the path to the 600K was first announced. And there was a lot of argument from, like, NA and EU teams where we're like, why aren't we taking the top, like, 6 or 8 teams worldwide and throwing them in there? It's a little, and I think Wolfie was a strong advocate for this, versus the fact of how they're breaking it up with a select, number from each region. As we know for NA and EU, Hi-Rez has been pushing, and we've seen the path that they have to take through the different qualifiers, through the SPLs, through the regionals. So it's a lot of work to get there, without a doubt. By the time they get there in January, it is well deserved. When we look at like the other regions that will be at Smite Worlds in January, you have the Chinese, you have Latin America, and you have Brazil. Now, I don't know if either of you have heard, but I haven't heard what type of qualifiers will be going on from Level Up, from Tencent. Have any of you guys heard at all regarding that? I mean, that's the kind of thing where people are claiming it's easier, but I think it's also because we don't know. Like, we haven't heard what path these teams will have to take yet.
Well, we've got Cret in chat. I mean, maybe he can give us maybe he can shed some light on how the Chinese teams will do it in like 30 minutes when the delay comes up, thanks Twitch. But as far as Latin America, I don't really know that either. So, like I said, you're Cret and Gnarl. For those of you that don't know, Gnarl hiding in the shadows, he is Cret's co-coach with the Chinese teams. I don't know their situation. Maybe he does, and I don't really think we have anybody in Latin America.
Yeah, we don't really have like a connection down there regarding like people that are there, stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of interesting thing, which sometimes bothers me about the way that the other regions are being approached. Like the Chinese market, think of it like this: like we have NA and EU, and it's like a brother-sister relationship between the two scenes, very, very close. But then you have the Chinese region, Brazil, and Latin America, and it's like, they're there, but we don't know anything about them. We don't know anything going on there. So it's a big question mark right now. So when this person, goes ahead, Dom, and sends us an email about it, they have an easier path. Maybe, I don't know, because we don't know that. But you have to remember, these regions also have not had the game anywhere near as long as we have. So it's almost like a handicap put on the NA and EU, where it's like, okay, you guys have had it for 2+ years. We're going to give you this path to take. But then the people that just got it, or kind of like China and Latin America, Brazil, maybe it's a little less qualifying. I'm not sure. What do you think, F.
I mean, that's always been my major concern. I know that the Chinese client is a little bit different with respect to how many gods they have.
Interesting.
They definitely don't have the same god pool that we do available to them, which is interesting. So, two things. Latin America and Brazil have been playing on North American servers. Chinese haven't been playing Smite at all because of, there's restrictions for that sort of thing, I think. So, in that sense, that maybe but at the end of the day, no region has access to a Dignitas to scrim. No region can call up Cognitive Gaming and scrim them. You don't have these veterans of the scene. Like, these players, even if a couple of them have been playing for just as long as some of these other players that we have in the North American and European teams, they don't have access to the caliber of experience holistically per team that North American and Europeans do. So I'm not exactly sure on the way to... Yeah, that's very true what Kret said. But I'm not really sure on the qualifying process, whether or not I want to call the process easier. I don't know if they have an SPL or just an open tournament. I'm not... I don't even know. But as far as the level of competition, I think it's definitely something to think about with respect to what worlds are going to wind up like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's an interesting thing. Like, we talked a lot before the EU event about boot camping and stuff like that. It's very common in that culture for that type of process to occur over there with those teams. So I'm eager to see. I mean, we saw a small preview of how from World Elite some time ago, but very small. And so I'm eager to see the changes between then and then, once we get to Smite Worlds. I mean, I'm excited to have different regions being represented at an event like that. I mean, I understand some people may view it as easier, but until we get all the details, I don't think we can judge quite so quickly, to say the least. So, taking our last question here, email from Mark says, can you go over your Smite fantasy team and what order you picked your players and why? F. Do you have a Smite fantasy team?
I'm checking mine for the first time in a week. I'm 3,400.
I'm kind of upset. I was at rank 63. I'm now at 1375.
Holy. Well, get wrecked.
I know. I don't know out of what, though. Last I looked, it was almost up near 10,000. But...
Barely, get out of there.
You want to go over? Stop yelling. Stop yelling at Smitten, all right? That's not nice of you to say those things.
No, the dog is...
What's your dog's name? What's your
dog? Dog. Say dog again. Say dog.
The dog. I'll say it just like anybody else would.
Dog. Name's F. I like dogs.
The dog's over there sniffing my laundry.
Did you hear it? It was spot on.
I know. So F. What do you got? Who's on your team, and what order did you pick them in, and any reasoning behind it?
Well, I'll give you my current team and my hypothetical. The team, if I could pick my team,
all money aside,
to be anybody in the world, it would be Sayo, and Sayo. That said, you can't have 5 solo laners, so I have Sayo in the solo lane.
Okay.
Still upset that he doesn't play mid, but he's doing work for Mortality in that solo lane.
Yeah.
I have iRaffer in middle lane, which...
In middle lane?
Off with Wolfie or jungle. He's
I was like, what?
Yo, when you open up your stupid ESL, he's in the middle, so shh.
So you call him middle lane because he's in the... You have such a Smite mentality, it's awesome. He's like, he's in the middle, he's middle lane.
But so iRaffer, I originally picked up Wolfie because he was dirt cheap, and iRaffer was dirt cheap as well, and they're both a lot better than their money situation. So I figured I'd buy them and Wolfie didn't do it for me week 1, so I swapped over to iRaffer. He's doing well. Shouts to Craig. He's all right. It's pretty cool. I'm happy. Captain Twig playing mid. I think Captain Twig is one of the best 1v1 duelers in the entire game. I think he plays middle very well. And Captain Twig Shock is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Like, there are certain combinations, like Laz is playing Athena, Shing playing Loki, Captain Twig playing Shock mid. These are the things that I watch Smite for, and so I picked up Captain Twig. I picked up Real Zex. I've had Real Zex. Jungle's the only thing I swapped. So I picked Real Zex second. He was like, so I picked Sio first, Real second, Incon third, because let's be real, Incon just takes all of Allied's kills all the time. Like, all the time. There's a funny GIF that I'll find later that really represents their situation. But so Captain Twig just should, or Incon should just be everybody's support, because while he's not, well, you know, he's a very good player, and I hope I'm not slighting him by saying he's not the best support in the entire world.
Sure.
In fantasy, he is. Like.
Oh yeah, he's literally the best in fantasy via fantasy points. He's currently ranked the best support.
Yeah, like the stats just wind up being dope like that. So to round it out, I picked Sio first, Real second, Incon third, Captain Twig fourth, and I had Wolfie originally fifth in jungle, and I swapped him over to Iraffer. I really am in love with my team, with the exception that Captain Twig and Reals are on the same team, and Raffer and Sio are on the same team, because ideally, you know, you want to spread the teams around. Because there's only a certain amount of kills per game. Yep. So, I'm looking to swap out my boy Raffer.
Okay. I started out.
Breaking up with Raffer?
I know. Jeez. Don't tell him
Not
that.
because of
That's
his
harsh
skill,
news.
Not because of his skill, but because he's on Mortality. I don't really want to have two people from a specific team.
Sure.
To the Reddit.
I can understand. Yeah, right. So, for me, I started out first picking my Hunter because the Hunters were the most expensive. So I did go with Real ZX, so good choice there, F. Second, I actually moved over to solo lane and picked up Divios. And keep in mind, this was before SPL started. I probably would have went with Sio if I had the opportunity now to go back and do that. Now, granted, I can make the trade if need be, but Sio's pretty expensive right now. So, you know, Sio, where's he at? 1105 right now. So, you know, give or take right around there. So Divios I picked up second. Third, I went with mid, so I have MLC Stealth, which is doing very well for me. And then I finally went with Ionic as my support fourth. And then I ended up with Jungle. And Jungle I've kind of swapped here and there a little bit. You know, I as F. did, and I promise we didn't pick together, I picked up Wolfie originally. Wolfie definitely wasn't doing it for me week one. And Jungle I kind of left as kind of a wild card because I feel like it was kind of hit or miss right now. So I swapped out Wolfie for Iraffer. What are you guys giggling about?
Do you hear it too? Are you laughing the same thing?
Yeah.
You hear it too?
Yep, okay.
What's that?
Just tell him.
Right. Who's the jungler for Thirst?
Wolfie?
Wolfie?
I'm confused.
You leave out the L.
Oh, really?
You just say Woofie.
Woofie.
Oh my God. Whatever. I hate you guys. I really do. I'm confused. What are you talking about?
The best part is, this Smitten, this is the first time we've done this. Me and Fats did this to him when he said Jeff Hindala.
Yeah.
Hindala.
Maybe it's an accent thing. I don't know. I just do it.
Maybe you just pronounce things weird.
Apparently.
Oh, man.
And anyways, so I swapped him out for Iraffer. Currently holding Iraffer right now. And looking good so far. Definitely not doing as good as I was originally in week one. In week two, you know, as I said, I was ranked 63. Now I'm up to 1375 after week two coming to a close. So not working the best I can right now. Those interested though, top five right. Let's say top freeze position right now. The Boosh from right now is from mid. Jungler Degars, Hunter Snoopy, support Ionic, and your solo is Sio. So if you're wondering, it's pretty crazy that 4 out of the 5 are Cog Red.
Yep.
I mean, the first week, I forget who it was, but homie just picked all. It was David Fry, the owner of Cognitive Gaming.
Of course.
He just bought Cog Red, and he was #1 overall.
Oh my word!
Which is kind of hilarious.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Like,
it smells like something's afoot here.
Yes.
There's a conspiracy in there somewhere. I'm sure somebody will find it.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win the Xbox One that they're giving away. Whatever. So that rounds out our emails. If you guys do want to email the show, feel free to next week. smiteupdate@gmail.com. Feel free to go ahead and email us any of your questions or comments. And
Wait, what's the email again?
smiteupdate@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Moving on, we will be doing a giveaway. On our Twitter channel in the next 60 seconds or so. You will see a gem code being posted. Make sure that you guys are following us. That is twitter.com/thesmiteupdate. Make sure you guys go out there, and a gem code will be posted in the next 60 seconds by one of our moderators. So go out there, check it out. You'll see a few gem codes listed there throughout the show. Also, if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you guys go down below, click that streamer feedback button, and then go ahead and select OctanePro and leave us your thoughts, what you think of the show, and the feedback goes directly to Hi-Rez, and that allows us to continue to stay on Smite game. So please go ahead and give them your feedback on the show. We would definitely appreciate it. So let's go ahead and move into the esports section of our show. As a reminder, if you guys are interested in getting into some tournament play, you're looking to bridge that gap now between casual and ranked, and now you want to start playing with people, make sure you check out two websites that have tournaments weekly. Smite Central and also TierMonster.com. Both have tournaments, a little bit mix of everything. Code Green and Code Black for Tier Monster. And Smite Central has a variety of different ones, 3 vs 3, Battle for Valhalla, stuff like that. So make sure you go out there, check those out. That'll pretty much be your next step if you're just getting past ranked and you want to start to, tap into some more organized games. That would be some websites to check out and sign up for as well. So we'll start out with esports. And F. you want to go over our first item to talk about?
Sure, let me tab over. I definitely spent the entire time you were talking looking for this tweet because I think it's hilarious. That's the tweet. I was talking before about Incon and Allied, and that's...
Oh yeah.
I love the look on that bear's face. Like, that's totally Allied. But back to the fact that I actually have a job to do here. Esports update. Sure. The $33,000 TSM Invitational LAN tournament. By the way, thank you. Everybody went out and purchased a TSM skin. They contributed towards this tournament. So high five, Smitten. Boom. So
there we go.
We contributed. We're esports contributors and a whole bunch of other people as well. So 10 points to y'all for doing that. Basically, what's going to go happen is TSM invited a whole bunch of these teams to come out and play. So far, stop doing that. So far, there's a couple of teams. We have TSM obviously are going to.
Let me stop you real quick there. Where did they put that list?
They didn't.
Okay.
What?
Okay, just saying.
Oh, you are sideways criticizing them instead of actually saying it like a big man. No doubt.
Well, secret shots fired.
You are so good at this. So, please continue. Just saying. Please continue.
So the teams we invited were Team Sullivan, quite obviously. Mortality, eSports. Do you know the other two?
I do. I don't know they were public yet, but
word. Well, then I guess because I don't really know them.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get you to say things you can.
No.
I literally only know Team Sullivan.
We're working for you, Chad. That's what me and F. are here for.
This is the downside now of my relationship with F.
Because I know you're a manager, Mr. Manager.
I don't know that the teams. Okay, we'll put it this way. I don't know the teams have been announced yet, so I'm not going to say anything yet. The tournament is September 20th, so that's coming up here very, very shortly. It'll be in Sweden. The venue and the city have yet to be announced, along with some of the details on the teams. Right now, we have a very limited post from Hi-Rez Studios. That's kind of what I was hinting at. The post doesn't really say a ton outside of the amount, and that it's on the 20th, coming up here very shortly. So outside of that, that's kind of all we know about the TSM Invitational. I'm not saying it anymore.
So, Mr. Manager, where is the tournament going to be held?
Sweden.
Where's the venue?
I'm not telling.
I'm not telling.
I'm trying, guys. Do you know? And this is actually real.
Sure.
Do you know if the public are going to be able to be are the public going to be able to hang out? Or
I am going to say probably not because of the size of the venue. I'm going to say it's probably going to be private invite, to be honest with you.
Well, either way, it sounds pretty sweet.
But I don't know. I understand that it will be streamed and all that fun stuff.
That's what I care about, as long as I can watch.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so let's find out to be 100% sure. I was talking to APC, and he said a lot of the details from the TSM Invitational will be coming out this upcoming week. So, you know, we're going to have a lot of that details coming to us very, very soon. I'm just waiting for a message from, like, APC being like, stop talking about it. So that's the
basically, Mr. Manager over here in the middle, the guy that has to be in the middle of the shot because he's clearly the most important. He knows all the information, but none of us else do. All we know is that Team Solomon is going to be showing it. But
yep.
All right, and it's $33,000. So there you go. So
sure.
Fantastic. That's all. I can literally just say that one statement. So fantastic. Moving on though.
What else we got here?
We got, is HURRIWIND taking a break from Fat Chunks to Assemble?
I know, I feel like we need like a little noise maker. Yeah, so, you know, I threw this in there because, you know, this is something that we're starting to see more and more, and I feel like almost the SPL and the pressure of the tournament scene right now is definitely, you know, you can definitely see some of that fracturing out into other teams as well, where either players are feeling they're underperforming, and they like to take a back seat to it, or they get frustrated, explode on a problem that occurs, and you go from a team that's been around for a while, you have a lot of faith in them, and all of a sudden, boom, like, oh, disbanded. Why? Because somebody got frustrated. Like, well,
can I link something?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see it.
Give me another GIF, please. Give me another GIF. What do you got here?
It's literally HURRIWIND tweeting, someone please tell Smite Central that I'm not quitting, but in fact, just very salty.
Oh, okay.
First of all,
you're live for you guys.
First of all, numero uno. I think it's hilarious that he's just like calling out Smite Central because that always tickles my funny bone. Second of all, 10 points for just being like, yeah, dude, I'm salty. Like, I'm pissed.
Right?
A lot of people would be like, stop spamming PJ Salt. I'm not mad. I swear. I'm just big boned. This guy's just like, yeah, dude, I'm salty as hell. What about it? Like,
yeah.
Fight me,
what
Smite
are you gonna
Central.
do? Right?
Like, look at this, bro. Come at me. And I dig that. So 10 points to HURRIWIND for owning it.
I think, yeah, I mean, aside from the whole Smite Central thing there, you know, there's nothing wrong with players getting frustrated and upset and going crazy over, like, when you lose, there's nothing wrong with being upset. You should be frustrated. But what bothers me right now, and we'll get into it, you know, through some of the other things we're going to talk about, what drives me nuts is that a team loses a game.
Mm-hmm.
Some player or players go off being like middle school, trying to point the finger, blaming everyone else, or sometimes blaming themselves. And being like, all right, I'm done with Smite. I quit. Disband. Done. And it's like, are you kidding me? You're competing for probably going to be $1 million tournament in January. Like, own up to it. Stop. Oh, it just drives me. I see it, and it just, I'm going to call it out. It's signs of immaturity when players are like, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I quit. This is stupid. It's like, seriously, you're competing for a chance at $1 million. You better suck it up. Put on your big boy pants.
Be a man.
And learn from your mistakes. Exactly, Smitten.
Or a woman.
Or woman.
Smite is you can play pro sports if
Thank
you can
you.
play pro Smite if you're a female.
Yeah, I think TSM's gonna pick me up.
I hope so. I hope they do. I can't wait.
I mean, let's be real. Like we've had Ash Baron Moji in our scene, and both of them are probably better than you people watching the show. So I mean, like, you know, both of them can do the whole like pro thing.
Yeah,
but I mean, I feel you on the latter part. Like personally, I you know, as far as like.
Okay, hang on. Someone in chat goes, Octane, most of them are kids. So that gives them an excuse? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, like, yeah, some of them, they're kids, but they still need to understand that this is, like, an actual responsibility. This is a real thing with real money up for grabs. I mean, they have to, like, be adults for at least this.
We constantly get comments where people are like, don't generalize kids that are, you know, the demographic. There's a cat crawling over. Oh my!
Binks, stop being indecent. Binks, Mom's doing a show, please.
What's
Sorry.
Name?
What's your cat's name?
Binks.
Binks.
Yeah.
I like it.
That. Does Binks like to ride bikes?
I don't know.
I've always wanted to see a cat ride a bike, so if he could, I'd want you to show me. But,
Alright, I'll put it on YouTube for you.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm actually serious. I'm not even pay you. But,
I'll try.
What's it called? So I mean, like, all I'm gonna say about the whole like age and maturity thing is that Divios is one of the most mature people I've met.
Oh, I know. Look at the whole team of Cogred.
And I mean, like, I don't really think that age ever really comes into like talk. Like, it's fun to say, like, it's fun to like put baby rage into chat and then say like Divios face no space. But like, I don't actually think that it's cool to like make fun of people for like. I don't think age has anything to do with esports. You want to talk about like being 18 to like do certain things, sure, fine. But people are just people, regardless of age.
Sure.
So,
yep.
That one's that. As far as like being, putting your emotions on Twitter, like, it's your personal Twitter. You can maintain your image how you want. Yeah. So it is what it is. You know, if you're salty after a match, I kind of want you to be pissed off after a match.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to like lose and be like, man, we tried, we'll get them next time. But I would much rather see some guy like,
something authentic.
We lost, I'm mad, I'm quitting, I hate everything. Then see somebody go like, yo, we threw the game because we love you guys. Heart, like, good, like, well played, man, great job, we'll get you next time. I'm down with that. But I would much rather see the realness than, like, that garbage.
Sure.
As for there's such a thing as too friendly in a competitive environment. So,
right.
That is what it is. People can say whatever the hell they want on Twitter and make Cooper go crazy with Smite Central.
Oh, that's awesome.
It just shows like how passionate they are about what they're doing, but still, you gotta mean some type of professional level. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. I think it's a good point. What do we got the next one? You probably know the most actually about this one, so I'll have you go over this one here after that.
Word. I mean, I actually, do you mind if I stick on the last topic a little bit?
Sure, continue, please. I will allow it.
One of the, because I mean, expanding off that
point.
The
Lord has spoken.
It's funny because I actually just got a message about this as I wanted to stop you anyway.
Excellent.
Going off of the whole Twitter thing and how, like, I don't really care how people react on their personal Twitters. There is a certain like level of maturity that is expected. We have people. Adonis recently caught a lot of ire for doing his job and putting opinions out there. Yeah. So I do think that there is a certain level of you're a professional. You're going to be criticized in a public light, and that's it. And it is what it is. I mean. Pro sports figure Carmelo Anthony has to wake up to the Daily News calling him trash and a horrible part of the team, even if he like carries the game the night before, because they don't win anything. Yeah. And like, are our Smite players making as much as Carmelo Anthony?
No.
Obviously not. But can you still draw the same conclusion? Yeah. You want to put yourself in the spotlight? You want to compete for about $100,000? You want to be the focal point of thousands and thousands and thousands of fans? Yeah. You're gonna have to open yourself up, and probably the biggest thing I can say to those players is that there's a big difference between like personal criticism and play criticism, and also at the same time, when it comes to play criticism, there's some people that you should take their words, like, look at them, you can disagree with them, but understand that it comes from a smart place. And then just know that a lot of dudes on Twitter and Reddit don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like, shouts to all you losers out there saying Dignitas was going to be horrible for the whole season.
Oh, I know. We'll get to that. Week 2 is crazy for SPL.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So, there is a certain level that pros need to bring themselves up to, I feel like, because there's a lot of people talking out there, and you got to realize that that's going to happen. Whether or not it's the right information should almost be second nature. Should be secondary to you. Just care about you. Do you. Because there's going to be a lot of people's opinions out there, right or wrong. So.
Yeah, I mean, my last comment on that, you come back to professionalism there. Like, some of these outbursts that occur after some losses and disbands that occur, sometimes to me it takes away from the legitimacy of our scene, because I feel like keeping these teams static through SPL is, like, so important. Like, I really do. Like, it just keeps, as we talked about when they released the, when the SPL came out and we talked about, like, the Fantasy League and how this is giving us an attachment relationship with players that we haven't had before, being able to follow it. When you have people that are, like, dropping from teams, what is that noise? It's like a helicopter or a motorcycle. When you have, I was like, what is that noise? When you have people that are dropping out of the scene so like quickly or teams disbanding, it does take away from the legitimacy of the scene. And I know Hi-Rez doesn't want that. That's the last thing they want, to be like all of a sudden in SPL a team disbands. It's like, oh my word, like that's the last thing.
I mean, like that happened to Clash and Slash, and I'm sure Slam Jam City had other stuff going on, but that happened to Clash and Slash, and Chad, help me out. Who was on that roster? Jeremy was like one of the main men.
Oh, that was right before the launch tournament. Yep. Yeah. They didn't qualify, so they're like, we're done. Split up.
Yeah, and like that team was damn good, and I sat there and I was like, man, they didn't make the launch tournament, but you know, think about the future, how mad they're gonna be, and how they're gonna want to come back, and then homies just kind of disbanded. And I was like, yo, what are you joking? Like down to Pern or down to Frag had the same idea. Like they perned one match and then they just didn't want to like pern it out, and they just disbanded instead of actually, you know, being professionals and coming back and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the sort of thing that bothers me, because there are cool ideas to have. You know, teams together, but you know, I guess I guess on the one hand, you gotta break things to make great things, but on the other hand, too many hasty decisions can run the well dry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good point. Well, we won't dwell on this too much more. I think we definitely talked a lot about it. Let's move on to the next one here, which does have a lot to do with SPL and also the Challenger League a little bit. So I'll have F. go over this one, just kind of kick it off. We can discuss a little bit more because this is a pretty big deal. So I'll throw it over to you, man.
Sure. Competitive player and team infraction issued. PainDeViande, a.k.a. Meatloaf. And Team Return got into a little bit of problems. Don't giggle, that's what it means in French language.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
In what language? In what
French
language?
French language.
Oh, okay.
French, what do you think I said?
I'm not going to say that on Smite game, please.
Wow.
Trying to get me in trouble over here.
That's right.
You know, trying to get bad info out of Octane, trying to get you to say bad words.
Just because I'm not going to tell you.
You're just a troublemaker.
Just because I'm not going to tell you all about the TSM Invitational. Come on now.
All right, Mr. Manager, calm down.
Calm down.
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Manager.
That's how we're going to have to refer to him from now on.
Mr.
Manager. Mr. Manager. It's all right if I speak now.
So I have my secretary. I have my secretary on one side. So who are you on the other side here?
I'm the devil.
The
devil that sits on your shoulder. This guy.
You're both devils on my shoulder right now.
Yeah, Smitten's come over here and she's joined me. So
yeah.
We're both so what happened with PainDeViande was Pain was playing for a team in the SPL, Exposed Secrets. He was playing support for them because he was actually in the EU or whatever, and he was doing that. And then what happened was he moved back to North America and he played for Team Return, which is the Challenger Cup team. He played on a Smurf because he didn't want his pro team to know that he was playing with another team while he decided what his final decision was going to be. And the ruling is it has nothing to do with it being a different account. The fact that he was on a Smurf doesn't matter. What matters is that he played in the Pro League and he played in the Challenger Cup, which is not right. You're a professional player playing in like the amateur, soon-to-be pro scene. You obviously are like rigging a team. So, I mean, Pain's story that I 100% believe, because I have no reason not to, is that, homie was playing for an EU team while he was in EU, came back to America and was like, yo, I have like 720 ping, this sucks, I want to play with an NA team, but I got to think about how to break it to my friends nicely. Here we go. And then he was like, what? I didn't know that, because, it's like Rule 37.B alpha, you know what I mean?
It's like 2.1 J section 1 and 2.
Yeah, like players read the rules. They should read the rules, but sometimes you skip over things or forget them.
You should at least consult somebody, like go to APC or Barge or somebody. Like if you're a pro player and you're on a team and you're like, hey, I have this issue. What can I do about it? I mean, like you should consult other people who are in the know, people who know the rules. You know what I mean? Like people who can like guide you in the right direction without getting you in trouble. That's just common sense.
I mean, the rules are quite lengthy. I understand the rules are quite lengthy. Like I know the launch tournament, it was ridiculously long, and even you, like you know the Challenger Cup rules inside and out. I mean, that's your job type of deal, F. But like, in this situation, I liked how Pain responded to it, because like you saw on Reddit, he responded to it. He owned up to it. He was like, I didn't know, it's my fault type of deal. And so it's cool. That's what I like to see. I'm glad we saw that compared to an outrage. Oh my gosh, whose keyboard is that? It has to be Smitten.
Sorry.
It's so loud.
Let me finish my countdown, please.
I thought at least you're honest. At least you're honest, bro. So anyways, I'm very happy. I like how Hi-Rez took the approach to this though. Like they're posting these types of, like before in the past we didn't see like a whole write-up on these. I like how Hi-Rez is going ahead, putting all the details into one article, posting where it comes out of the rules. So when people see this, they're like, they don't go and blame Hi-Rez. They're not like, oh, Hi-Rez did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, I think that's 200% like the way it needs to be. And you know, like I said, I want to reiterate that, like, I could be wrong, and maybe Pain is like secretly like a evil mastermind, but at the end of the day, I think homie like was just like, all right, I don't want to hurt my friend's feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, it's against the rules.
Dang.
Damn it. You know, like I don't think he was trying to do anything. And so what happens is the rule is after week 5, you can jump down to the Challenger Cup if you feel fit. You're allowed to do that, and that's how long he's being suspended for. So he's just being suspended for the remainder of the SPL, for the SPL lock-in, and then after the 5th week, he's able to join his whatever team he decides to play with, which is kind of a scary team. I believe he planned on playing with some players you might know named the Best and Mace to the Face.
Who? Yeah.
They're actually the Best, Mace to the Face, and Clow have a team together that PainDeViande is a part of. So
okay, cool. So moving on from there, other things going on. On another note, DJPERNICUS, which is definitely a well-known name in the scene, is now a new sub for Team Dignitas. We did go ahead. This came out this past week. We're kind of surprised, to be honest with you, but at the same time, I'm not. I know for a fact that he's studying, or I guess he's studying to be a doctor, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes.
I can imagine that takes up a heck of a lot of time. So in this situation, I think it was very, time and time again, we saw him trying to field a team, being in the starting roster, and it looks like he decided to part ways with that and is now looking to be a sub, actually, for Team Dignitas. We did see sub Aduro ended up leaving the Dignitas as a sub and has moved now to a team within the Challengers Cup. Do you know what team that is, F. Dot? Do you recall?
What are you talking about? No, I'm just kidding. I don't recall.
You don't recall. Okay, fine. So anyways, if you guys are interested in more details on that, there's a small little write-up right now on Smite Central, if you guys are interested. And I keep, you guys will notice that the show, I post a lot of stuff from Smite Central, because Smite Central is really the only other place outside of Reddit that this type of content comes from. You'll notice. The
late-breaking content.
Yes.
I do got to give a shout-out to my mans at Next Wave Gaming. They do their thing, but they don't come out with the with the breaking.
Correct.
No, breaking news. So and so broken nail wrote about it on Twitter. Find out now, right here at this link.
We'll update you as information comes along.
Yeah, you don't get up to the minute information on Zapman's beard situation like you do with us.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see that
it's incredibly important to the competitive scene.
Zapman shaving his mustache now might be a goatee. We'll get back to you at 6. And there's 7 more tweets from Cooper. Cooper, I love you. When it comes to Next Wave Gaming does the I recently did an interview.
Oh, I don't have that link. I need to find that. I have it though. Of course you do.
It's right here.
Oh, here we go. And how is this? How is this titled here? F. Dot, the man, the legend. Oh my word!
I don't write it, baby. I just show up and talking to a microphone. All right.
Oh my goodness.
I will post. I will post it in chat because the picture. After reading the title and then looking at your first picture on there.
What picture is it?
The one with your.
I didn't even read this thing. It's the eSports one.
Oh my God.
I love it. I will bring it up on screen.
That is incredible. Look at that face, though.
The man, the legend.
I'm gonna Photoshop something.
And I think it's so
later.
appropriate that your mouth is always wide open.
Yeah, it's because he's always talking.
Yep.
Yo, I'm saving this so that I can Photoshop it later.
That is an awesome picture. Anyone anyone got Snapchat? Just don't put it out there. All right. Moving on.
I'm not giving you my Snapchat ever. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, so like beyond that, they do a
Yeah.
review each week of the SPL for both NA and EU. They do a little bit of Challenger Cup analysis. They've had interviews with like Jeff Hindlett and stuff. So they are more about the like after the fact reporting as opposed to like what we talked about the breaking news. So, but I'm with you. Outside of Smite Central and Next Wave Gaming, there really is nobody out there that put stuff out. So I mean, and that's actually the whole that's where Next Wave Gaming came from. Me and Octane came on the show and we're like, yo, somebody write something. Nobody writes about our game. Please do it. And then the guys at Next Wave Gaming were like, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. They came. At one point, I was like, I want a calendar. Someone put together a calendar so I could see everything going on in NA this month, everything going on in EU, streamer schedules, everything. A month, like not even a month later, I get like an email. Hey, we built what you talked about. Here's the website. Check it out. I was like, all right. So, but as you say, they do more than just the calendar. They do interviews, esports articles, stuff like that. So,
Mr. Manager making things happen in the world.
No, that wasn't me.
Fancy.
That was them. All right, so I'll go ahead and post their website, by the way, guys, in chat. Make sure that you guys do go ahead and check it out. Moving on from there, we kind of touched on this a little bit. So there was some interesting situation in the Challengers Cup today, to say the least. Some combat pausing that occurred that, caused a little wrinkle, you could say. It caused a snowball effect, I think is the best one, to say the least. So I'm going to ask F. as he oversees the Challengers Cup, to kind of run this down because this is kind of the talk of the town right now. So why don't I give it to you, F. What do you got?
Yeah, so today was the European Challenger Series. It starts every morning or every Sunday morning at
4 a.m.
It's I believe it's 6 Eastern Standard Time. But so that trend, it's about like it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock UK, so that means it's 6 a.m. here. And basically, what it is, anybody can sign up. Unfamiliar with the Challenger Cup, what the hell's wrong with you? Go ahead and get your team, sign up that day in TeamSpeak, and then you can be a part of it as well. What had happened was...
I love the face.
Here we go. Here's the setup, guys.
Deep breath,
what happened was, like, this is like the start of an epic story.
Announcement about an announcement. Here we go.
I mean, it's really not that epic. It's pretty cut and dry. Basically, what happened was two of the stronger, dare I say, strongest teams in Europe met in the finals. Again, get used to it. We have Dignitas, which is the team that just missed the SPL. They're the ones with Zinder actually was just removed from the team, but Pretty Prime, everybody's favorite Vulcan player, is on that team. They just barely missed the SPL, and Potato Boys, which is I don't know.
Wait, what team is it? What's the name of the team?
Potato Boys. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay. That's SunTouch, Proxy. It's notable names.
Yeah.
So big names, good teams, etc. Yeah. They're in the finals. We get to a game 3, which is exciting as hell. In the very beginning of game 3, Proxy QQ DC somewhere else. There is two members of Potato Boys in the duo lane. Sobek goes in, tail whips, weakenings, pulls, and they pause.
Is he like mid-air pause then from the pull?
It's like right about there.
Okay.
And so what happened was that was a combat pause, which means you are disqualified from that game. That is, I mean, it happened to Zillion, Shadow Nightmare of Exposed Secrets. Like that's what happens. You don't that's the rules. There was nothing really said. We're just like, all right, you're DQ. Like, that's a DQ. That's what it is. And then a lot of people went out and got angry, as they should, because there was a little bit of a miscommunication. Teams thought that they were losing points and money when in reality they just lost that game, which means they get second place, etc. So, a lot of things were said and just miscommunication. Everybody checked with APC, who like you said, the Challenger Cup, we have our own admins. I have my own stuff. But at the end of the day, APC is the man in the sky. So teams went to APC and figured things out, and everything was copacetic after that. Everybody's happy. Nobody's quitting. We'll see you next week, hopefully with more teams, because that's really why I show up to the Challenger.
Where were we at this week in numbers for the Challengers Cup? Do you remember?
We had over 30 teams in Europe, and then in America we had 69 teams.
That's a lot.
69.
That's awesome.
What were you guys the week before? You remember?
I forget the amount of teams, but we had 420 players. So just like incredible amounts of people coming out. But yeah, I mean that's one of the cooler things is the new talent that you get to see. In North America North America for once is maybe a little more competitive than Europe. Like maybe a little more competitive than Europe, just because, which is the first time in Smite history. Like Europe, let's be real, it's Agilitas and Potato Boys. There are some other teams, shouts to Heroes and Zeros, who's looking for an artist. If you want to draw a logo for Heroes and Zeros, let me know, I'll pass it on. So there it is.
Okay.
And also up-and-comers or something, up-and-coming stars, which is Qin's team. So there are some other people. It's Agilitas and Potato Boys.
Okay.
Thus far, hopefully one of these teams can be better. North America, you've got like 8 million teams that can do something good. And out of all these 8 million teams composed of old pros like Ecliptium and people on Myro Electric.
Been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. People like The Best and Mace to the Face. You have this team called Asgard Gaming, which is 5 dudes nobody heard of. You might have heard of Tresden because he's a streamer named Deegan, and he's an awesome streamer. But like, none of them have really dabbled in competitive Smite. They come out, they beat these hard teams. They show up in the finals, and like there was a little bit of issues in that final as well. But like we got to see them play, and they played very well. I'm not talking like homies like stun somebody and then hit him with an Ao Kuang ult. Like we're talking like mid rotations to the red camps in the first minute and a half, like real cohesion stuff. So there are people lurking in the shadows that are going to be picked up, and maybe the future Smite pros. So come out, show your stuff. Maybe you're better than a lot of people. Maybe you'll get streamed. Have a good time. Play hard. That's what it's really about. And I like to see somebody. And once upon a time, we were saying that about Barracuda.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think
who's this team, Vicious and Delicious?
Yeah,
what
right.
A silly name. Who's this Barracuda guy? And now we're all like, oh, Barracuda, he's so good.
He's so cute. He's so adorable. So back on the Challengers Cup a little bit though. I like, the big thing about the Challengers Cup, which FDOT is constantly like pushing people to do, is to join, is because this is really like one of those opportunities where we finally get to see where you as anyone can actually join with the 4 other guys and have an opportunity at qualifying and playing with the big guns, you could say. And it's pretty exciting to see. You do have to have that consistency of showing up every week, as it is point-based at the very end. And so, it's pretty exciting to say the least. While we're on it, we can go over a little bit from the Challengers Cup as we kind of dabbled in this a little bit. So with the Challengers Cup, the current standings, if we go ahead and bring them up, I'll go ahead and post them in chat for you folks. So for NA, Snapchat Gaming, 110 points. Team Salt, 102. 110 points. Like, who's on Snapchat if those are not familiar?
Snapchat Gaming is
Can't remember.
Wait, let me Google this.
I'm not Googling it, excuse me. I'm not Googling it. I'm looking at the brackets. All right, it's been a long weekend.
They give it to them for free.
There were 2 tournaments and the SPL. We need to hold that.
Oh, you work so hard.
So we got Healer. That's Ecliptium's team. I forget.
Okay.
Snapchat Gaming is like the worst team name in the entire world, so I forgot who was on it. That's Ecliptium's team. If you told me Ecliptium's team, I would have been able to tell you.
I'm sorry.
Heater, off the team who's Kabam, Skeleton, and Wubba, who's Met Yankee.
Okay.
So these are dudes that are like old school people.
Met Yankee's been around forever.
Yeah, like these dudes have been around forever. And then the other side is that Asgard Gaming team we were talking about. Yeah. Tresden is Deegan the streamer. You got Joker 1G, Elaborated, BMOC, and Miraz, who's somebody that Kret really likes to say. What does he say?
He was just screaming it in chat earlier.
What was he saying?
He was saying, Miraz, Miraz.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically, what happens with the Challenger Cup? I see a lot of questions out there in chat, and there's two things. That's really cool about the Challenger Cup. One, SPL teams don't have rock rosters just yet.
Yeah.
Rocked rosters or locked rosters. They don't have either. So basically, let's play pretend. You come out and you are better than Zapman. Some team is gonna go pick you up because they see your skill level.
Yeah.
That's a long shot. But the reality of it is, so basically for the next 7 weeks, I hate you, Smitten, we will have the Challenger Cup. This was week 2, so there's 5 more weeks remaining. You might say, gee, that's the same amount of time as the SPL. What's that about?
How ironic. How does that work
They're
out?
connected.
That is not ironic, Alanis Morissette. You need to hold that. Anyway, so what happens is we give you seed points. First place gets 100 points, etc., etc. The two teams at the top of the brackets, the first place and second place team, after 7 weeks, will play against the bottom 2 SPL teams.
Okay.
And if you win, you go to the SPLs. And then, depending on there, you might even go to Worlds. Like, that's crazy. So if you are a part of the Challenger Cup that happens every Saturday and Sunday for North America and Europe respectively, that's how you become a pro Smite player. You just join up, you get your team, you try to do it, you beat a lot of people, and if you're good enough, you'll be in the Smite Pro League. Like,
yeah, it's such a cool opportunity because in the past when we've had like the Hi-Rez weeklies, you'd be going against Dignitas, you'd be going against COG. Yep. So you were, lots of people complained like, hey, I don't want to sign up. Round 1 or round 2, I hit them, I'm bounced out. I have no opportunity for my team to grow, nor for me to grow as a player. So this is the opportunity. So every week we push people to sign up for the Challenger League. Please go out and do it. You can do it right at Hi-Rez's website, esports.smitegame.com. So please check it out.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the cooler things that I like about like our game is that you think about like how do you become a pro basketball player? Well, like you play basketball forever from the time you're born, and maybe somebody from a famous organization looks at you once while you're playing. Yeah. How do you become a Smite pro player? Well, you sign up for these tournaments, and if you beat everybody, you'll be directly invited into the league. Like
it's that or kind of
easy.
It's that or you get pulled over. Like when we were talking the other week about the fact that like, hey, someone drops out. Someone can't make it that week, or hey, they need a sub or whatever. They'll go ahead and look to the Challengers Cup. I mean, lots of the pros have told us, we're watching the Challengers Cup. We're watching people playing. We're keeping an eye on it.
I don't know if I should say this, but Wolfie asks me all the time, who's good in the Challenger Series?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who's good? Let me know who I got to watch out for. Let me know who I should,
Wolfie's always creeping.
Yeah, Wolfie is... I mean, he named his team Thirst, so I can't really say anything else.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But,
all right.
Yeah. It's really dope to see all the new stuff. So come on out again. If you guys are interested in joining, go ahead and it's every Saturday, Sunday, and it's just an hour before the tournament. There is no like advanced sign up for you show up at 11 on Saturdays Eastern Standard Time. You show up at 5 on Sunday mornings Eastern Standard Time. You go ahead and just say yo bro, etc. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet me at f.ny.
Swag. All right, moving on from there. Some cool stuff going on. Actually, throw this to Smitten. Got to make sure she's paying attention. Yeah, look at you. What do you got?
I'm paying lots of attention. Like, I'm paying so much attention that I'm almost out.
Wow.
Nah. What?
Go with it. Roll with it.
Go with what?
All right. Why don't you take this one about Kret? What do we got going on with Kret right now? What's the big deal?
Kret nearing to coach Chinese Smite team.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. I love Kret. Kret's one of my favorite people in the world. He's so incredibly knowledgeable about this game. I remember sitting next to him at the launch tournament, and it was the very last game. It was Dig versus TSM. And I was sitting there, we were sitting on that little platform down at the bottom, and like we were talking about the game and who we thought was gonna win, and I was just like, yo, Dig's totally gonna win. Like, I'm a Dig girl, I'm sorry, can't help it. But like that whole time he was sitting and talking to me, he's like, no, he was just like, TSM is gonna win. And he knew that from like 6 minutes into the game. and this man just blows me away.
All right, calm down there. He's
I know,
all right.
a little fangirl. Come on now.
Sorry,
Go.
I like this.
I've never
movie.
heard you talk about me like you know. Anyway.
Yo.
Anyway, so I think it's pretty exciting. You know, this is a few things to say the least. You know, Kret was coaching Team I5 some time ago. Some things were in the works after that. Now we see him coaching a Chinese team over in China, Team DB, which I'm not familiar with that team. I don't know that I've ever heard of that team before. But I think this is pretty exciting to see not only the Chinese market investing in, you know, the coaching, the fact they're having 2 coaches versus 1. So you know that they're taking this like super serious, getting ready for us, SWC. But then on top of that, you end up bringing over somebody like Kret, who's been so involved in the NA scene and the EU scene, and now we see him moving in that direction. So it definitely, if you look at it from a coaching perspective, it makes it legitimate. You know, like we've had this discussion several times on the show when it comes down to coaching and the value of it, and does a team need it, does a team not need it. I could see 110% where this is needed, where you have a Chinese team trying to get caught up to be prepped and ready for SWC. Without a doubt, they go ahead and grab someone. So I'm super excited for it. I'm interested to see and hear more about Team DB and even the Chinese scene. You know, we have Kret made a statement. If you guys want the article, I'll post the article in chat here. You know, he talks about getting acquainted with the Chinese Smite scene. We've been so disconnected from it that, like, I'm excited to know that, okay, we have someone who has been very active in the NA and EU scene now going over, you know, so it's pretty exciting to say the least, you know, moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt's definitely a knowledgeable individual. He's, you know, most of the time on Saturdays for the Challenger Cup, he's my color commentator, providing analysis and all the numbers that I don't know. Yeah. And you know, Kurt sticks them all in that head up there, and he's actually in China right now. He's been there for a number of weeks, so that's got to be a little bit interesting for Kurt. But yeah, no, I think it's great. Yeah. Basically, I really understand the value of coaches. Managers, I kind of think are a waste of position and like just for dumb people. But coach,
you couldn't finish that statement.
Because I don't actually think that. I just wanted to, you know.
That was a really long setup, though. I mean, congrats.
So we have. That's right. So we have Kret. We have Kret on the call.
Who invited Kurt? Get me out.
It was OctanePro. You can blame him. So
that's right. So give us the rundown. What is the deal?
All right. So I was asked by Hi-Rez, who was asked by this Chinese team to coach them. And so a little bit of the Chinese team, from what I know, DB stands for Do Your Best. But you have to understand that the way Chinese esports works is very different from North American esports. There are teams and clubs. Clubs own teams, and it's all about the club. Okay. I don't know really anything about the club. I just know that I'm coaching DB. Okay. So, you know, like, for example, let's say OMG from League of Legends does really well some season, and then the club that owns them sells them to another club. Okay. That's trading between financial entities, basically.
So is it very much like an organization? Like we call it an organization? Is that what we're referring to as a club?
What we call an organization is simultaneously a team and a club. Okay. They differentiate the two. So clubs trade teams, and you have a more, which is odd because it's a communist country, but it's really a more capitalistic way of approaching esports. Sure. I don't really know anything about the politics or anything like that, and honestly, I'm pretty in the dark. But it's cool. So what I'm doing for DB is I'm just coaching them, helping them improve. My goal is to kick everyone's ass at Worlds, yada yada. I do not speak Chinese. I am working through a translator, which is interesting. The hours are also interesting. I wake up at 6 now. I do not live in China. Sorry, OctanePro, but it was really funny to keep you going. It was
okay, so the story behind that, let's wrap it up there. So I heard about it. I messaged Kret, and Kret was like, oh, I live in China. I'm like, awesome, good for you, man. Instead, he tries to bust my balls about it. Now, here's my question. So here's my question.
I convinced like 3 people.
Why aren't you? So here's my question. Why aren't you living in China then?
I don't speak Chinese. I mean, I could, but like I'm doing stuff here. I'm involved with the North American Challenger Cup and the European Challenger Cup.
I like how you made it seem like I like how you made it seem like you know Chinese, you just choose not to.
Right, I just choose not to. That's
I don't speak
for my
Chinese. I mean,
assistant.
I could if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
exactly, right?
No, I'm so bad at languages. I could never speak Chinese.
But so the funny thing was, like, so Kret told me, he was like, all right, yo, Octane thinks I'm in China, so he asks you about it, tell him I'm in China. And I was like, all right, no problem. And he's like, man, you know, because Kret has the green screen up a lot for the Challenger Cup casts. He's like, yo, what should I put? He was like, oh, I'm going to be, like, in the wilderness. And I was like, no. You got to put China in your green screen, so it looks like you're in China. Because on Tuesday we do a talk show, Banzus, on Twitch.tv/Smite Central. So
good plug. Good
we
plug.
just put China behind him, and I was like, "Yo,
it was a great wall.
Octane's really gonna think it." It was like just the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he was in China, but it was funny because we tricked OctanePro thinking that he was in China. If you actually, Kret, I think this is the picture.
Do you have the picture?
Yeah, Kret, click on this picture in chat. I think this is the setup that you had.
I'm not clicking on that. I know what that is.
Just click it.
I'm not clicking on that. That's Badge's face.
Oh my god.
So I guess.
That's Badge's face, right? I haven't clicked on it.
Yeah.
I got him today, so it's fine. We just exchanged pictures of Badge's face. I don't know. It's funny. But
So back on a note about the Chinese team. So you said you got Hi-Rez hooked you up with the team. You got hooked them up with you, being in that situation, and you and another gentleman are working on coaching them to catch them up to speed.
Nice.
What are you noticing in your position so far from the Chinese? Should we say, as F. talked about, like there are certain gods that aren't in that client and stuff like that. Like, what are the big differences you're noticing right now? Because in all honesty, like we don't really know anything about the Chinese scene except what Hi-Rez feeds us when they have like the 10-cent games carnival and stuff like that.
Right, and I am contractually and allegiancely obligated to keep it that way because I want to win Worlds, so I'm not telling anyone anything. What I will say is the state of the client right now, and I'm going to use an example. So Ao in the current iteration is getting remade. We all know this. The reason he's getting remade is because he doesn't match with the lore, blah blah, and he's going to turn to Kokokin or whatever.
However you say his name.
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. They never put Ao in the Chinese client. They weren't going to do it until they put in Kokokin because they knew they were going to remake him.
Wow,
Stuff like that. And it just comes down to the fact that they're not going to launch the beta for a game that they have to translate through a big language barrier. I mean, it's like Chinese is very different from English in a lot of respects. So they had to sort of work on gods one at a time, and they weren't going to put in a god that they were just going to rework for the Chinese client. So I think Arachne's not in there too. I mean, I don't know because it's Arachne. Nobody plays her anyway, but in competitive. But
So here's my big question. Yeah. We're kind of talking about that. Let's fast forward to January.
Yeah.
Oh, are the Chinese going to be playing against gods that they have never played against or touched? Or are they seriously going to limit the gods you can play because the Chinese market has not touched them yet? Because that's a big question that comes to me. Like, how do they find the common grounds? They either introduce all the gods to the Chinese market and catch them up to NA and EU, or they pull out some of the gods that have been introduced to the Chinese market, and that's completely unfair to the NA, EU, and other scenes.
So I'm going to answer this as a player who knows some stuff out of China, or a participant in the community, and not as a coach. I would assume Tencent is looking to get all the gods in by that point, but independent of that, I would assume that Chinese teams and Latin American teams will be boot camping in North America to some extent. So if there is any god that you don't have access to,
so what is that? Sorry, good.
I mean, basically, it just means you go to the LAN event early, you go to Atlanta early, and you sit in a warehouse with computers and you play against other.
You're
nerds.
pretty much You're pretty much a gold farmer for a week in a warehouse somewhere attached to Hi-Rez.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to ask, Smitten, or were you going to ask something else?
Yeah. No, I was going to ask, like, I wonder what how different is the meta from ours, from the NA meta? Because that's my favorite part about all these different regions.
Well, I can comment on, like, if you go back and look at, like, the Tencent Games Carnival and stuff like that, where we actually got to see them play a little bit and such, like, you got to see a little bit more, like, from what I can say, what I saw, and Kret, as you said, you don't really want to comment on it. From what I saw, they play very much more conservatively. They're picking gods and picking items on certain gods that give them, more protections, tankier, more survivability versus, like, how we played out.
Pure damage, yeah.
So
what kind of gods do they like to pick, Kret?
Well, the most common picks are... Now, let me put it this way. You can't watch us, but we're watching you.
Yo, that's like the Truman Show.
Don't you find that? Don't you find that so interesting? Because everything we do, you have to think of it too. Like the entire
SPL. Yeah,
exactly. The SPL is streamed. All the VODs are the next day up on Smite on the Smite Pro channel on YouTube.
Usually just a couple of hours after.
Wow, somebody is right on it. It's like,
that's really
yeah,
good on
man, he's
I don't
really.
know who it is,
Don't increase his ego any more than it already is. But that's a big factor. And I think, you know, I think, Kret, you have some good points there. Like, seriously, they could just go ahead, and I don't know their access to YouTube and stuff like that. I don't know if it's limited with the restrictions.
Proxies.
Okay, proxies, exactly. Good point. Where they could go ahead, set up a proxy over to NA, and go ahead and watch those, study those, and get, you know, look at the meta, look at some of the strategies, and what do we have for the Chinese market right now? I mean, I know there's a few YouTube website type of style for that is over there, but you go over there and you look at that, like you have to sign up with a Chinese account, you go over and check it out. There's not much Smite content on there right now. So I'm eager to see how the teams are going to scout out the other regions as we get closer to SWC, because right now, like, look at SPL or look at the Challengers Cup. You can go back, watch the VODs, you can see what, you know, you can look at the Smite stats, you can see who's playing what, their best gods, their top kills, the items they've selected. You can look at all of that, and we don't have that for the other regions. So,
well, that is only a tournament VOD sort of search. So what that means is that, like, I don't know what kind of content Hi-Rez is going to put between playoffs and the Smite World Championship, but whatever it is probably not going to be as much content as the SPL.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, maybe it is Conquest, but, you know, it's probably just weekends. And I have no idea. This is just speculation.
Sure.
But the scrims are going to be hidden. Like, no one will have access to Dignitas' scrims except for Dignitas, because they're in them, and their opponents, or whatever. So basically everyone's going to be running behind like a full, it's blocked off. You can't get any research. So what you do when you're looking to prepare for that is you play your game and you play it the best you can. You pick up what you can during the tournament and you just roll with it, and that it really will be even, I think. I mean, obviously the Chinese are watching North American games, but that jump is going to be huge. And if anything, you know, like, people are saying I was brought in to catch up. I'm not going to comment on that. Yeah. But, like, catching up would be the first priority, no matter what. And then winning Worlds is just sort of, like, going to happen at that time. And the month leading up to it, that won't have SPL because the SPL will be done.
Yeah.
So I could say that much. Like, we know the SPL ends, then you have playoffs, then you have Worlds. So we know the SPL's done.
Yeah,
well,
I'm excited to see the boot
same
camp.
for everyone.
And now I'm eager to see the boot camping that occurs in those last 4 weeks. I think it's going to be huge. And I think exactly, the scene's almost going to, like, close itself off if you think about it. Like, I feel like that's going to occur. When you're competing for, I'm going to take an estimate, $1 million per team, you know, for that, like, for the entire prize pool, like, people aren't giving their secrets away and stuff like that. And we saw a lot of that really cool stuff with, like, the Smite launch tournament, where there were some strategies that came out which no one expected, gods that were selected which no one would have anticipated at all. Back to someone in comment. Can you at least tell us what other gods are not in the client yet? You said Alquang and Arachne.
You can Google that stuff.
Can you Google it?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like, you can Google it. I'm not going to disclose it, but just basically think about the kind of gods that would be in the client. Gods that are due for a rework, recently released gods, and, like, gods that are due for a remodel.
Okay.
I have a question that's, like, not actually me baiting you, Kret, and you could choose not to answer this one, Kurt. But basically, with respects to the individual skill level, do you think that players, because obviously players in North America and Europe have had a lot more experience. We were talking about this earlier about how Chinese players might not have as much experience.
Correct.
Maybe they played on, you know, through proxies or whatever, but 200 ping doesn't help anybody. So the individual skill per player, do you think it matches up well to some of these more experienced players, or how do you feel?
You know, I was a philosophy major in college, so I'm going to fire back a question with you. Define skill. What do you mean by skill?
Oh my
the
God,
raw,
Kren.
the raw stuff. No. That
Sure.
as another analyst, I really understand this question, because when you look at a team that's skilled, they're warding the enemy buffs. They're hitting Gold Fury and Fire Giant at the exact time they respawn. They make sure to get the non-Fire Giant Phoenix first. Not that sort of skill. I think that's more like meta-oriented, which is what you want to avoid asking. I'm talking like, can they hit pillar stuns?
Can they are they doing rotations, stuff like that? Yep.
No, not even like.
Are they doing ability combos?
Yeah, like can they push their buttons right? Do we have a Chinese Barracuda?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm asking. Like, as far as like strategy and stuff, whatever, you can stay quiet. But like, can homies hit auto attacks? Like, that's what I want to know.
I mean, mechanics are mechanics, and we've had players who are nearing skill cap since the dawn of Smite. Early Zapman hit more pillar stuns then than he does now. Maybe that's people getting better at juking, or maybe it's Zapman spending less time playing on her.
Yeah.
There's a guy who streamed on a Smite game. He quit playing Smite, really unfortunately. He was such a cool guy, Cadbury. He was sort of the casual king. Very good player, but only played casuals. And he pillar stunned all day. I mean, Allied was very, very good on her before he switched to ADC, which is weird, but I love Allied, but my memories of his on her really impressing me are when he was a support player. So people will be good at mechanics. There will be mechanically strong players. I'm not queuing ranked in China, so I can't answer that by and large, but there are always going to be players that are good, and there are always going to be players that switch games. I mean, Lasses was a high-level Dota player. He was also a high-level baseball player. Yeah. And you swap it till you find the thing that works for you, and that's what it is.
I mean, you could have just said I'm not going to answer that. But
last question.
I'm just kidding.
Last question I have for you. You know, with I guess the coaching role that you're in now. How do you find yourself watching VODs at this point? Like, are they recording locally content for you, or do you have access to the Chinese client and you're able to just go in and look at, you know, the spectator client, that style? How's that working out for you?
I have a Chinese client.
Okay.
When I'm watching VODs, I spend 50% of the time watching the VODs and 50% of the time playing The Sims. That's my personal coaching style.
Yo, I need to he's kidding. Even while he's casting, he has a character in The Sims. He made it at the beginning of yesterday's tournament. By the end of it, he was sending poor little Jaco Malfoy to college. Like,
no, Jaco died. Jaco died. Yeah.
But now you remade him and he's thinking about being a competitive gamer, right?
Yeah.
He became an amateur and then he died. It was sad.
Awesome. Okay, so that's pretty much, so you're viewing it through VODs that are being distributed to you then?
I'm using a Chinese client.
Okay, and then just checking it out. Okay, cool. Good to know. Any last comments you could give us about what's going on and the whole deal there, or right now it's just kind of developing?
I mean, mad props to my man Narian for helping me out. He does as much work as I do, if not more, because I delegate a lot. So it's really cool to have him with me, and he's honestly like, he's the sort of player that didn't win the RNG of competitive play. You know, like, you can be good, you can be skilled, and then it's like, do you get the right team with the right players and the right attitudes? And he hasn't. And maybe part of that is him. It's probably him. He's kind of a shitter. But he didn't make it.
Don't throw him under the bus.
He's doing really good work coaching.
Okay.
What's up, Smitten?
Nothing. I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
No, I knew you were gonna say it. No.
I don't know what you want to say, and this is the club, and this is what we do. We say things.
Yeah, we should talk people. Don't worry. Did
you just call me baby?
Who called you baby?
I was being ironic.
Oh.
Oh my god. You're. I can't. I'm not even gonna touch it. Not even gonna touch it.
That's something Kurt hears a lot.
Oh! All right, Kret, thank you for coming on. Do appreciate it, man. Thank you for giving us a little bit of an update and quite a bit more information than I think anyone else knew at this point that was made public. So do appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, and maybe we'll get a little bit more of an update from you in the future.
All right, I'll see you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Kurt. See you later.
Peace.
You guys are so nice. All right.
Damn, I thought that was low, man. That was so... It was out there in the open, though. I can't blame you at all.
So now that he's gone and it's just us three, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. Why did I tell you? Because it's not just us three. It's us three plus another 1,900 people.
Damn it!
I'll tell you after the
notice.
show.
I didn't think you noticed. That sucks. Oh well.
All right, so
Worth a shot.
let's go ahead and round things out. We're going to go ahead and talk about the SPL this past week. We went ahead and finished up week number 2. A lot of upsets, a lot of surprises, to be honest with you, the way that things worked out. If we just go ahead and go through just a quick rundown of this past week and kind of what we saw. First, we'll start out with the standings and just kind of go through there. So for NA, Cognitive Red right now, 6-1. Cognitive Prime, 5-2. Snipe 4-3, Team Dignitas 3-4, which there's lots to talk about there. Fat Chunks Assemble 1-5, and Thirst 1-5. On the opposite side for EU, Mortality 5-1, Exposed Secrets 4-2, Cloud9 4-3, SK Gaming 3-4, Team Solo Mid 3-4, and finally Team Coast 1-6. If you guys are not familiar, there's a great little link here. It's from Smite Central once again, because of the fact that they're one of the only ones out there. Go ahead and check out that link that I put in chat, guys. It gives you a rundown of every day. It lists the week and then the day to show you what the outcome was of those games. So if you're wondering, where a win or a loss, what happened during the week, it is listed there right within chat. So, I'll throw it over to Smitten. Did you have a chance to watch any of the SPL this week? If you did, any surprises to you or upsets that you saw?
I did not have a chance this week. College OP.
Ugh.
Every time there's a game, I try to get on while I'm in school. I'm not condoning this, and I'm not saying chat should do this while they're in the middle of class. But if you want to keep updated on what's going on in the pro scene, you may or may not take
Is there something wrong with your eye? Is there something wrong with your eye? You all right?
Yeah, it's just man, obviousness. Anyways, no, I've been trying to get on Twitch during college, but I just can't.
Okay. So, F-Dot, this week, you and I watch pretty good amount of the SPL. You might watch a little bit more than me, but I think we do share quite a bit amount of viewership there. What are some things that stood out to you that happened in week 2 that were quite a big shift from week 1?
Exposed Secrets beat SK Gaming, and I don't think it's that particular matchup that really stuck out. It's the fact that Exposed Secrets beat somebody.
Yeah, but then you have to look at, they beat, Cloud9 as well.
Exactly, and that's sort of...
Wow.
And I mean, the Exposed Secrets is sort of I don't really know what happened, but they looked at Dig and and they said, wow, they really turned their game around. They grew as a team, and it took them, a week. We've been trying to do this for months, and we still are horrible. So, they kind of just kicked it into gear. Zelia, all of a sudden, became Zelia. A couple of months ago, Zelia was one of the loudest. People were cheering the loudest at Zelia at the launch tournament. Everybody loved him, and people still do love him. But
dude, I love his Ymir play. I'll just put it that way. Ymir play. It's he's. Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of watching Zelia is that he does different stuff in the solo lane.
Correct.
He only plays casuals when he streams, my guy, and that's sort of just what he does. And for some reason, he disappeared. So Wagner, I didn't mean specifically Dignitas. I just mean that they can look at how they grow. But anyway, so Zelia used to be fantastic. He suffered a little bit after leaving Cloud9, which is because of the team change.
Yeah.
But his gameplay also seemed to go away. Maybe it was just the surrounding situation, but all of a sudden he's back. The rest of the team has really got into it. What MLB Star is exactly what I was going to say. They won against 2 subs, which is big. But I think that the gameplay that we saw from Zelia in the solo lane, despite there being substitutes, was an upgrade from what we've seen.
Okay.
I'm not coming out talking about Exposed Secrets because they're going to be 1, 2, 3 seeds overall.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's definitely a large difference from what we're used to seeing, and I think that Zelia has really stepped it up a little bit. So I'm excited about that.
Sure. I mean, I think the big thing is we moved into week 2. So week 1, training wheels are still on. We're still trying to get we're feelers out there, determine how the teams are playing, stuff like that. So, after week 1, a lot of the top contenders you could definitely see, or, definitely stood out. Some of the teams that were not doing so well, for example, like Team Solo Mid, after week 1, it was kind of like, okay. But now week 2, we're starting to see the changes. And I want to go back, we talked a lot about Dig, and because, it's a lot to talk about there. But, Dig in week 1 didn't look so great. And when a lot of people, sent us in questions or tweeted at us regarding Dignitas after week 1 and our thoughts. Are they going to have what it takes to make it? Is this the end of Team Dignitas? But look at week 2. We saw between week 1 and week 2 some comments that people had made regarding, oh, there's some great things coming in week 2 from Team Dignitas that were made by the members. And we jump into week 2, and we see the Team Dignitas of the launch tournament, per se. We see that team where all of a sudden, they're from behind, they come back, and now Team Dignitas goes from in the bottom of the barrel for NA. Now they're 3-4 right now, trying to make up for some lost time from the previous week. So, don't be so quick to judge a team after week 1 or week 2. People have to remember that, like, throughout the SPL, teams will begin to adapt to strategies and picks that other people pick. They're going to look for that Zhang Kui, that Sayo plays, and they're going to make sure that's banned out, as they start to approach that. They're going to go ahead and look to ban out, Mercury versus certain individuals. Like, as the SPL goes on, I feel like the competition and the true teams are going to step up to this first and second place. Those plates that are there.
I feel you on that. 100%.
I mean, look at like Exposed Secrets, for example. We doubted them. We talked about them the other week. Now we're
still doubting them, Octane.
They're 4, but I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them credit where credit's due. Exposed Secrets is now second in the EU scene. They're 4-2, right behind Mortality, who was undefeated in week 1, yet they lost to a lower seeded team, Team Solo Mid, who everyone doubted, came out, and Team Solo Mid played spot on. Mortality Esports did not play a very good game. And it's going to happen. And they ended up losing, so now Mortality's 5-1. So I think people are quick to judge viewing the SPL, and they need to give it some traction. I'm saying, let's look at like week 4, and we're going to see the teams that are spot on really standing out.
What were you going to say, Smitten? I thought you were in the middle of saying something.
Nah, you're very beautiful. That's... I'm just sitting here mesmerized by you nodding your head.
Smitten, you're drunk. Come on now.
Thank
Be
you.
honest.
Please.
But, yeah, I mean, like I said before, in my professional opinion, I don't think that Exposed Secrets is going to be 1 or 2 overall.
Okay. You think it's just the week?
I don't think it's just the week.
Okay.
I think that basically what happened was they won against 2 subs, but in those 2 games they looked really good. So I don't want to chalk up the win because they played against subs.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 things, they looked good in those matches, so I think they've risen. I think they brought up their skill level a little bit just from like time. And secondly, they got confidence. They beat some good teams. So I think we'll see some wins. I just don't think they're going to be number 1.
Okay. Well, I like it. I'm eager to talk about Exposed Secrets in like 2 weeks from now, and to see if you're spot on, or you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, it's a 7-week play period. And we're in week 2,
I know.
So not you, but all of our chat monsters that were like, Dignitas is done.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, what are you smoking? Like,
it's Dig, please.
Give it time.
It's Dignitas. It's Laz's. It's Zavin. It's Dignitas. Like, Laz is going to have games where homie goes 12-2 and a bazillion assists as well. Like, it is written. So like, it's week 2. We can start to develop conversations, but that's all we can really do. There's 5 more weeks to play.
I'm eager to see how the NA scene develops, because right now, like, literally the cognitive organization is loving it. You got Cognitive Red in first, 6-1. You got Cognitive Prime 5-2, and the next team below them, which played really well today at least, is Smite 5-3 or 4-3. I'm sorry. So like, there isn't anybody quite close right now touching both Cognitive Prime and Cognitive Red. So
it's just Cog Kingdom over there.
David Fryer right now must be in heaven enjoying this. Yeah. Cog Kingdom. So
sorry.
I mean, once upon a time, I called them King Cog.
Yeah, right.
King Cog.
But see, you called that the Cog Prime, and then Cog Red came along and blew King Prime out of Cognitive Prime out of the water there. So
I think they have 1 win over them. Let's not like make it that.
Hey, I got
Prime is like sweeping the floors while Cognitive Red are like running the robot scene. Like,
that's right.
Chill out. They're close. They're
give
both very talented.
Give it a few weeks. We'll see what happens. Give it a few weeks. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm confident in the Cognitive gaming teams. Cognitive Prime has some of the best talent in the world on it, and Cognitive Red has been a drastically different team since the launch tournament.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Snipe played very well. Shout outs to Allied, and it was
Today, they played great.
It was a week or two ago. Allied got a triple kill, and Bart, in one of my favorite calls that the SPL has seen, just Senpai! Because everybody says Senpai noticed me in the Smite scene. That's Allied. Allied is the original Senpai.
Yep.
Like, he is the Senpai right there. So, I still have a lot of faith in Team Dignitas. I think Team Dignitas is at least 3, if not higher, later on as we progress. Just because Dig, like I mentioned before, Zap and Lazes are 2 of the most talented players in the world, and they're a fantastic backbone. And you look at the differences their team made. ShadowQ was, or Dare to Care is an extremely aggressive support. ShadowQ is a little more calculated.
Yeah.
Anatoly is a pretty a dude that likes to plan and be meticulous in the solo lane. Shing likes to buy Heartseeker and murder people. You know what I mean? Naw isn't the same mid player that Best is. He plays a little more, I don't want to say support mage, but he sets up. So, you know, really simplistically, Lazes might be used to being with the Best and come into lane, hit him once, and the Best knocks him up and Hebo ults and gets the kill. Now, he's got to play doing the damage while Naw slows. There's a lot more that goes into it. I'm simplifying it, but it's a completely different archetype of a team. So it took a while, and when you have raw talent like a lot of those guys have on that team, it's going to take a little bit to get used to the dynamics of different players' playstyles, but it works now.
They just need every time you've got a new person into a group, like, you've got to have that time to assimilate, like, to assimilate and to adjust to each other's play style.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I mean, that was kind of what I feel like that's what we ran into in week 1. I'm eager to see what we see out of Team Dignitas in week 3, though. You know, they played great this week. Will they play great next week, or was it just this week they were spot on? So we'll have to see. Now we'll throw it over. We'll have to talk about it. Thirst and Team Coast. We got 1-5 and 1-6, and I'll have to be honest. Like, I'm very surprised with Team Coast, because the Team Coast we saw like just a little while back at the EU LAN doesn't seem to be what we're seeing right now in the SPL. And so I know we're in week 2. But coming back from a 1-6 and a 1-5 is going to be difficult, and it's going to, you know, does it require player changes? I don't know. Does it require an attitude change or a reevaluation of certain strategies? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Looking at these European standings, I'm always surprised when I see exposed secrets with 4 and 2, and I don't give them enough credit. I keep saying that I don't expect them to be second place, and it might be time for me to just admit that I was completely wrong on that, because they're just performing well. Team Coast isn't, and I don't really know what the thing is. They looked really strong. I think that.
Well, different teams perform differently in different metas. Like, there's going to be top teams per meta, and so it's just, I think it's this meta they're excelling in.
And that's the story with Team Solo Mid, in my opinion.
So I imagine there's going to be a lot of upsets next week.
Yeah, like Team Solo Mid. I think Team Solo Mid was a lot better in the Warrior meta. That was they were so good. That was a fantastic point you brought up with Smitten. Like, Trix Tank would just mollywop you all the time.
Mollywop.
With Sun Kong, like, he could just murder you. You know, that was his deal. And then when it shifted to Guardians, like, he's learned a little bit, but you know,
it's not. He can't be as aggressive as he is.
Right. Yeah, and we look at Shaggy Shank's hunters, and the best hunter that Shaggy Shank plays, and Shaggy Shank is widely considered the best player on that team, is Artemis, a character that has a hard time working these days with nerfs and all this other stuff. So, I mean, that could be part of it. I'm curious to see their pings, maybe, but I don't know, because they performed fantastic on LAN, and now they're online. I'm not going to give them the lag excuse, but, like...
This is F. trying to come up with a way that he's right in the situation.
No, not at all.
So,
I expected Team Coast...
Typical man.
I expected Team Coast, I'm going to fight you, to be a little bit lower on this, like... I didn't expect it to be number 2. The surprise is Exposed Secrets, and that's what I might be wrong.
So a game coming up, schedule looking forward, next week, this upcoming week here for SPL. A game to look for. If you guys are going to catch a game, I'm really excited for Wednesday, Team Coast versus Exposed Secrets. I think that's going to be a good game because that's really going to determine it. I mean, are we going to see, Team Coast, lose again, or are we going to see a turnaround there? And same thing, it's going to validate what you're saying about Exposed Secrets. Are we going to see them continue on the winning streak they're doing with the success they're doing? Or are we going to see something like what we saw with Mortality and TSM where all of a sudden Exposed Secrets lose to a 1-6 team? So Wednesday night, guys, Mortality versus Cloud9. We have Team Coast versus Exposed Secrets. Fat Chucks Assemble versus Team Dignitas. Smite versus Thirst. So that starts us off Wednesday. If you guys want to see the entire schedule, I'm not going to go through everything, but the entire schedule is linked here, right here in chat. Any game that you're looking forward to next week on that list right now, and then I'll throw it to Smitten as well.
I want to see Dig play Cogred on Thursday.
Ooh!
I want to see Dignitas with they've gotten this. They're the new team now. They're good now, and they weren't good the last time they played this team. I want to see Dig play Cogred, and I want to see Dig play well. I think that is one of the better matchups to look out for, as well as Mortality Cloud9 and SK Cloud9.
Yeah,
I think that Cloud9 is Cloud9 is third right now. They're 4-3, but I think Cloud9 has played some of the best games out of these teams. I think Mortality is very clearly number 1 with the best games, but I think Cloud9 has played fantastically. And I think that they are, while not on the scoreboard just yet, 4-3 versus 4-2.
Sure.
That is a number of games type thing. Exposed Secrets is 4 wins, 2 losses. Cloud9 is 4 wins, 3 losses. Okay. So they are half tied, if you will. So I'm excited to see the Cloud9 games, and I'm excited mostly for Dignitas Cogred. I will be watching that every second of it.
No, I think it's a good point. What about you, Smitten? What is there any games in there? If you do have a chance to watch, is there any games that you're looking forward to after just kind of hearing the standings and where we're at right now?
Cogred, Cog Prime. Who's taking control of Cog Kingdom. That's like, I'm so hyped about that.
There could be a lot of adjustments as to who's listed in first at that point. I mean, Cogred will go against Dignitas, exactly as to what you were saying there. Prior to that, it doesn't look like they have a match here. Let's see. Wednesday, neither of them do. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we could see some shifting there of kind of who's on top as we get to that point. I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch as well. So once again, guys, I'll put the link in chat for the SPL schedule. If you guys have any comments, questions about the SPL, some predictions of your own, feel free to email the show, smiteupdate@gmail.com, and we'll read over them, talk about them. We always enjoy the esports related emails as well as the content related and in-game stuff. So feel free to email us, and we'll definitely talk about it. So we're going to go ahead talk about the upcoming patch that will be coming to us here this upcoming week. I don't know if any of you guys do have a date on that as to when that'll be released this week. I know we always get that. When's it coming? When's it coming? If they stick to what they traditionally do, probably Tuesday.
And maybe push back though. This is like isn't this the biggest patch ever released?
I mean, yeah, I don't know about ever, but it's
most God changes
since launch.
Yeah,
it's gigantic.
So let's go ahead. We'll jump into our patch discussion here. I'll throw it over. Smitten has probably had Smitten has more experience in the PTS than I do. I've not been around.
I haven't played the PTS.
And so I'll throw it over to Smitten. Why don't you go over some of the we won't go through every detail, every line, guys. In the patch notes is very long, but we'll just generalize and talk about some of the changes that are coming if you're not aware. So Smitten, why don't you go over some of this for us?
First thing that I'm super excited about is not Arachne. Because we already know whenever she comes out, she's gonna be broken. It's crap. Like, please, like that is a known. We don't even have to discuss it. What I'm most hyped about is New Kwang. Like, Kokoken looks incredible. I was like playing. No. Same thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I was playing mid lane yesterday as Kokoken, and his 3 seems so much. His tornado seems so much shorter than on Ao Kwang. And like my chat was trying to sit there and tell me that it's because the model is bigger, whatever. But I'm not sure if that's it. There may be like a secret little nerf in there. I can't toss my tornado as far back as I used to be able to. So I'm super hyped about that. The ultimate Spirit Tempest, if it's still called Spirit Tempest.
Okay.
It's irrelevant.
Dragon of the Seven Winds.
Okay, whatever. It's gonna be Spirit's Tempest forever for me. Like Ao Kuang. Okay, I have a lot of love.
They love making this easier for the casters, don't they?
I'm trying to remember if I'm correct. I don't know if I'm correct, but
it is so incredible. Like I have Diamond. I have Diamond Kong. Just saying.
Of course.
Like,
I will say your Ao Kuang is very good.
my Ao Kuang is incredible. You know why? Because I leveled my count from 20 to 30 with Ao Kuang only.
I did that with Emo.
Easy mode. Easy mode.
I did that with Emo.
But like, his voice pack is incredible and it's entertaining. Like, I'm so hyped for New Kwong.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite exciting. Some people had asked some questions I saw in chat and stuff like that. From what I have read, and please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Like, please call me out on it. My understanding is that your masteries will go, the mastery for him and everything will move over to the new god. And I think there will be players who purchase the Typhoon skin will be refunded the favor value. With that as well. So it looks like things are kind of going to swap over as well. It's kind of going to be a nice, because I had a buddy of mine who plays very good mid Ao Kuang as well, and he was concerned. He was like, did I put in all the time and now I'm seeing that disappear? The answer is no. You'll still just have it. It won't be on Ao Kuang. It'll be on the new god. So I'm excited for it. For it. What else do we have coming?
Somebody in chat saying that the voice pack is lame. No, it's not Ao Kuang's voice pack, but in of itself, he has a great voice pack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
What does he sound like?
Yeah, can you tell us?
Kind of snaky. He sounds like everything he says is kind of snaky.
Can you do a performance?
Is it like
at the end of everything he says with an S? Like it takes forever to say.
Like how does he say enemy missing middle? Can you do that? Can you voice it?
Let's see it. Okay, hold on. I gotta get in character.
Didn't you voice
enemy
Cupid? Come on now.
Middle or something like creepy and slithery like that. Like. Those are the perfect words to explain his voice pack.
Creepy and slitherly. Okay, okay.
I like it. I like it. All right, so what else? What else we got coming out of here? So we have Arachne. We got Arachne. Some changes coming. What do we got? I have to say, by the way, Arachne.
Like old Vegeta. He sounds like Cobra Commander. Sounds like a snake version of Prince.
Wait, what?
This is chat. This is chat.
Change.
Cobra Commander, really? Yeah.
I did voice all the gods, Salty, if you know it.
That's right. That's right.
Snake version.
Arachne is so broken.
So what's the deal? So what's the deal with Arachne? I'm super excited. We'll have to say. I know some time back we talked about Arachne and what we'd like to see out of Arachne, and I will have to say I did say something about getting some spider webs on walls and ceilings. Just gonna put it out there. Not taking credit though. It's probably not me. But give us the rundown. What do we got coming out of Arachne in this next patch?
She gets Chinsai as her passive, please. Like, that's already broken. She gets original Chinsai as her passive.
Do you think that's why they increased the gold on it? They increased the gold on it? Like
I don't
2 weeks
know.
ago?
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think just Chinsai was, like, a little too strong. But Arachne is just so broken. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this, so I'm not going to say it. But there is a way to break her.
Ooh.
There's a way to, there's an exploit, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want people to lose in their matches. I'm doing this for you, chat. I got your back.
Yeah, I mean, the resetting attack chain thing isn't really that big of an exploit.
It would be...
It's still kind of...
I like how she's covering her mouth with the cup as she's like trying to... like, that's going to hide it.
Where I come from, we call this clever use of game mechanics.
Oh, well... You know, to all of us normal people.
It's not basically what happens is she has an attack chain. It's like, what is it? They all start with 1. So it's like 1, 0.5, 0.5, 125. That's Osiris, but just go with it for a second. So you get the most powerful punch, and then you get like baby punches, and then you get like a powerful punch and a powerful punch, right? So the whole idea is that, just like Fenrir can do this, you attack, and then you basic attack, and then if you use an ability, it'll cancel it. So you like attack, use whatever ability cancels, and then you attack again. So you just like hit him twice with the haymaker, which is nasty. It's, you know, it's not an exploit. It's just cheesier than a bad hamburger. So.
Oh my god! But her ultimate's really fun though. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm arachnophobic. I can't stand spiders, and you know my chat knows this very well. Like
no, you put a picture on your stream the other day of this.
To show you what I had outside. It was massive. How could I not share this? Anyways, so like cool. She like climbs up on the ceiling and she's like.
Now, is the ceiling defined though? Because the way it looked in the video, like there's no actual ceiling there. It just looks like when you, for example, Apollo pops up in the air.
Imagine
there's no ceiling. But yet they're creating a fake ceiling for Arachne. Like there's no ceiling in the jungle because you're outside.
Just okay, this is how you have to imagine it. You imagine all the pathways in the map right up above it. And that's how she's crawling around on the ceiling.
Okay.
What does it look like?
Does it at least branch to each of the trees so it actually looks like it's in place, or does it not? Is it just like
is she just floating like
yeah, does it look like she's just floating on a web
there's...
that's not attached to anything? Yeah,
pretty much.
Okay.
But I mean, that's it for right now. Who knows if they might do some effects?
I'm just saying.
A Spider-Man movie, homie's just shooting webs into the air.
Right?
The building's just like, he's like swinging.
You don't see where it hooks on.
Kind stuff.
And if Spider-Man doesn't have that, why would you expect Arachne to?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it looks really, really cool, and she's super strong, and I'm actually kind of scared to play Smite once the patch comes out.
That'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. Arachne, you had to think when Arachne came out, Arachne was a lot of fun. She had, you know, and they even made some adjustments to her to be able to use her ultimate like through the wall. Which when someone can hit that, kudos to you, by the way, when you can hit that. Like that's mad good to say the least. I see Arachne play a little bit more when she is played in Siege versus Conquest. I see her picked up here and there type of deal. So I'm excited to see how she does now and how she competes with other junglers. I'm excited. Like I'm eager to see what the pro players end up doing with her in a few weeks when she is playable. Like can she compete with Osiris, with Mercury, with Thanatos? You know, I'm excited to find out about that because I think that'll be cool. Oh really? Okay. Wow.
I love, like, what I love the most is they replaced her spider eggs, right? With this web, this giant web that actually is a, like, beautiful zoning tool. So say you're going for Gold Fury, you can just, you know, normally where you ward, right there next to mid cams and next to behind the red buff, like, you just place those webs right there because she gets 2 of them. So she blocks off an entire area, which forces the enemy team to go around and up behind you. And by that time, you've already got the Gold Fury.
Are they kind of hard to see, or no? They stand out.
No,
like, very...
they stand out.
Okay.
They stand out, but like, it is such a beautiful zoning tool. I can't wait to see like how it kind of meshes with everything else that we've got going on in this map.
Yeah, it looks like that the webs don't. I'm just reading, you know, what we have here from the patch notes. The webs don't necessarily stop you in place, correct? It's just a slow.
No, they slow you.
It's a slow. It looks like Arachne for the duration. Let's see, leaves a trail of web behind them, which I think is kind of cool. It kind of almost like a breadcrumb. You can kind of follow that if somebody picks it up, and then afterwards, it looks like the broodlings then appear. Correct?
Yes.
Very cool. Interesting.
One of the questions that I'm grabbing from chat.
Go for it.
Is Smitten, when Arachne's on the ceiling, is she hidden by nuanced fog?
Ooh.
Actually, I didn't get to see that tested the other day.
What is
Maybe
this
I'll
is
test
the fog.
that tonight, though.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
This is the fog.
You gotta flip the hand over.
That'd be creepy. But no, maybe I'll test that tonight and I can get back to you guys. I'll let you guys know on Twitter.
That'd be cool. That'd be definitely cool to find out. I can only imagine though, like with her passive, and then like some of these, she's definitely even more mobile now than what she was before with some of these abilities and stuff like that. So with her passive now, like I can imagine she's by end game. I'm just imagining like what happens when Mercury jumps on top of you end game and like melts you in like 3 seconds.
Immediately.
I'm just imagining. I haven't played her, so chat I don't know, but I'm just imagining that type of Arachne play. So that's exciting. So what do we got with Odin? Odin, you know, had quite a few changes, kept a few good things, got rid of some stuff. What do we got with Odin?
His passive changed. And that's kind of one of the things that made Odin kind of amazing as a support is because of his ability to see more of the mini-map. So you could, you know, see ganks coming and, like, now that's gone. And now he has this Allfather passive. And it has a lot to do with his ultimate. And something like having Heartseeker permanently. And I haven't had a chance to test that out yet, but, I don't know. I don't know. I miss the old passive. Like just looking at it, but I haven't played him yet, so I may be a little biased, uninformed opinion. But I thought that passive was so cool.
F-Dot, what do you think about the changes to Odin? You know, we're now seeing, you know, Odin used to be able to be that god that was played as support, but now, you know, but still did a lot of damage. Yeah? Yeah?
What?
Burn bomb?
No, keep
okay.
going. Keep going.
Anyways, Odin very much was selected almost in that I hate you, Guardian role. And even though he did so much damage, now we're seeing him, as the warrior adjustment came in game, we're now seeing him fill into that warrior role a lot better than kind of in a guardian and support, which is good. I mean, when I originally started Odin, believe it or not, if you go back on my stats from like 2 years ago, Odin's still my most played god. And I don't know how, because I've barely touched him in the past like year and a half. He's still, it's just like, because when I first started playing, I was like, all I did was play Odin. So I still have all those games.
Like,
yeah, for you, exactly. Yeah. So like,
I played probably that way too.
And then it was very common meta for like Odin Zeus combination, and you played Odin. You played Odin very tanky. Then you didn't play him in that warrior perspective, and now he's to that. You know, he's moved in that direction. I'm happy because he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage, and I'm excited regarding some of the additional changes. So what else do we have? We have, you know, some things have been left the same. His lunge, and same thing with Gungir's Might. But the rings are different now, and same thing with the shout.
So I really, really, really like new Odin. I obviously haven't played. It's judging off of like numbers and stuff, and seeing him play it on PTS. I've watched a couple of streams, you know, in my like little bit. And first of all, just want to sit Bird Bomb. Just Bird Bomb is a lot of fun. Basically, you get your shield on. The thing that replaced the shout. The shield.
Raven's shout.
Damage. And
Raven's
it explodes.
Shout. Yeah.
All right, bud. And it explodes. And like, if you jump on somebody, the jump still hits for 8 million approximately.
Oh, so good.
If you jump on somebody with the shield on, it's called the Bird Bomb, because you show up, the birds fly out, and you like do like 1,000. It's like 900 base damage. Like it's
Odin mid may be a thing again.
What?
I don't know, like, I see him more as like as a jungler for sure. Like he's got the mobility, he's got everything that he needs to be a jungler. But I think it'd be really interesting to see him maybe in solo, maybe in mid, maybe not so much the guardian thing, maybe just like pure damage.
I wonder how he's gonna sit next to Osiris, because Osiris is definitely one of those warriors which is playing jungle. You know, where we see him being played jungle.
First, Osiris is not a warrior. He's an assassin.
Hey, come on now. Come on now.
Everybody knows it.
I complained about it forever.
Everything but title. He's an assassin in everything but title.
I'm gonna say that used to be true because he was a chainsaw character. He still is, but now let's look at the most recent successful Odin. I thought you were gonna shut down Octane for being completely off the mark with comparing new Odin to. Can you do that? No. Well, I
was saying,
I don't think Odin is similar to.
I was commenting on the fact that as she commented, he could be a jungler, and I was gonna say Osiris. You know, where you traditionally see an assassin in the jungle role, we see Osiris, who's the warrior, where Odin could be almost filling those same shoes. That's all. That's all. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
I'll give you half credit.
Half credit.
Yeah, you get. You know.
I hate my professor. This half credit bullcrap. Whatever.
Right?
You're so cheap. You're so cheap. All right, continue on. Continue on.
So we have Divios in chat shouting solo. He's going to be a solo. Where's Captain Twig? Where's Captain Twig? I want him to play mid.
Yeah.
But I basically feel that we're going to be seeing a lot of just damage Odin.
Okay.
Whether or not that's in the jungle, we'll see. But
we now no longer have to have that situation, that awkward situation when you have an Odin on your team and he decides he's going to ultimate and doesn't tell you about it, and you get trapped in this ultimate and you just run around.
Dude, his Ring of Spears is awesome now. I'm so happy with it.
So I'm pretty excited that we're able to run out. We'll be able to transition without
or be able to cast directly in. Yeah.
My favorite thing is to
oh god.
My favorite thing is to play Odin, right? And you go and you talk to your hunter and you're like, all right, let's go. I'll attack him first. Dive the tower. You let him attack and you ring him in so he can't leave. Tower kills him and you walk out. You're like, ooh.
That's like Dry Bear had a video on that where he raged on the fact that like one game he played and that was like Odin like torturing him doing that types of stuff. Like, oh my word.
Odin is probably him and Thor the most trolly. Oh, and Amir. Anything that has the ability to block off or block in anybody. It's annoying.
Yeah.
We should come up with like the most disgustingly OP team comps. Like Odin, Hades. No. Like just where their ultimates just mesh and combine this just like cesspool of death.
You'd be like Odin, Hades, and Zeus.
Odin, Hades, Zeus, Cupid, and Freya. GG.
What about Agni?
I think
I
we're gonna
won't
see.
comment on that one either.
I think we're gonna see Odin played quite a bit. She's a little sassy. She fits in quite well on the show.
I'm always sassy.
This is who she's always been.
I've always been this way. It's just I'll take a drink now.
All right, so
I'm excited for new Odin, and I want to see him in the lanes more than I want to see him in the.
I will have to say, was anyone else surprised about Odin? Like, I was surprised to hear that they were making, like, I was expecting all of a sudden, like, to find out Odin is going to be getting some changes done to him. I was quite
random.
Yeah,
I was very surprised.
Yeah. But he is the Allfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course.
That's a good reason. Sure, why not? That's exactly what I was thinking.
There's just like a sneak attack by Hi-Rez saying, oh yeah, you know, you guys were looking forward to all of these changes. Well, how about this one that nobody talks about?
Hi-Rez has such an interesting, like their marketing team, like just the way, like, they slowly, you know, release or leak things. Because you think it's leaked.
About that? No. That was beautiful. That's beautiful. I am gonna go out.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a minute.
Intentional.
Yes, I 100% agree. I'm like,
but
Bart,
I gotta give Mike credit. The Oscar goes to Bart. That
yeah, right. Yeah.
So if y'all missed the patch notes, what the hell are you doing at 4 o'clock on a Friday anyway? They do the patch notes and they finish and they're like, all right, that's it. And they show the login screen like they've done 8 million times actually on accident before when it was a one-man show. They show it, they're like, oh, and it's like Kukulkan and Bart just in like 100. Get that off the screen! What is that? Production! And they cut the stream. And like if it wasn't Bart doing that, I'd be like, yo, that's so fake. But I saw Bart's face and I was like, damn,
right? Academy Award goes to.
Yeah, he got that. So I mean, maybe we're wrong, and he was actually mad, and you know, Pecky's got a stern talking to that
Bart
day,
gets mad. What is this?
But I thought that was pretty. Dope. But yeah, Odin completely did not expect that one.
Yeah, it definitely caught me off guard to say the least. But I'm happy about it. I think it's great. I mean, we saw a rework of his model some time ago. That was heavily influenced by some recommendations from Tencent, and that I agree with. Like, it definitely needed a little bit of an overhaul, but that was really all that we saw at that time. So, moving on, Godskins, we see the Pixel Buster Freya, which I think this is awesome because I think this was
Minecraft Freya.
I'm
so tired.
I saw Mega Man. I saw Mega Man Freya get tossed around a little bit.
That's what that is.
So this, I think, was actually community fed, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. There was somebody I forget what order it was, but there was somebody had the idea, and then like Steve Sketches got involved, and I think Steve Sketches, for those of you that don't know, homegrown community artist.
Did you see? Well, did you see he did the King Bacchus card?
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so like it was an idea from Reddit, and Steve drew it. I don't know if it was his original idea or not.
Yeah.
And I want to give a little shout out to Steve Sketches. The ex-players are so obvious in our minds. You see Hi-Rez Peckies, Hi-Rez Adonis. You know, these guys are players taken from the community to join Hi-Rez and doing what they're doing. You know, he's not Hi-Rez Steve, but his art's getting used. He did the King Bacchus card. He did the Freya stuff. Steve Sketches is a community artist. He's got a stream. I think it's Steve_Sketches, where he streams himself drawing Smite stuff, and he that's what he does. He's an artist.
I got it right here. Yeah. Put it in chat. Make sure you guys go out and follow him because I mean he averages like 50 to 60 viewers sometimes, but like
it's cool stuff. And,
he's mad good. Like he's mad. Like he I'm sorry, you can put him side by side with some of the Hi-Rez artists that are doing the cards.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Can we get Hi-Rez Steve Sketches? Huh? Hi-Rez Sketches?
Oh yeah.
Let's get my boy up there.
Yeah, he's really good.
That's what I'm going at. Like, you know, Hi-Rez works with him, and he's been a community member. So it's sort of we see it so obvious with like in our faces with community members like Pecky's Adonis, Drybear. Even if y'all are new to the Smite scene,
Pon.
Pon. But Drybear was a community member, and now he's, you know, he works with Hi-Rez. They did that with Steve too, so they recognize talent, and because of that, we have a badass Pixel Buster Freya skin. This skin, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I think it's neat. When you level up,
that's when I freaked out. That's when I was like,
I did not see that. What happens? Please explain. Please explain.
It makes a level up sound like in, like, you know, your Super NES game.
Oh, really? It's like
level up all pixelated right above her head. I'm just like,
wow, that's cool. That's cool.
Like it's like that outside of the you know. Like
I like it.
The level up, the stuff that's not part of the character, and that's when I was like, all right, you'll get my gems.
I will buy you.
All right.
Okay,
because anybody that watches my stream know that Kesha is my spirit animal, and Northern Lights Kesha Northern Lights Freya actually just looks like Kesha. So I was upset that I would have to play a different skin, but when I saw the level up, I was like.
So let's take some bets. Okay, let's take some bets here. So we saw the Merc skin add about 70k to the Odyssey, which brought it up pretty high.
I don't know. Taking off?
I don't know. That must be on Smitten side. You taking off, Smitten?
No.
It sounded like an airplane over there. Anyways, so the Mercury skin added about 70k. Somebody is loud as anything. All right, there we go. So now, what do you guys think we're gonna see? Do you think this is gonna be the skin to bring out 100k? Do you think it's going to give us 100k? Because Mercury brought us 70k, give or take.
It's going to do better.
You think it's going to do better?
It's going to do better.
Because right now, we're at 705, 192. Which is pretty impressive.
I know, right? It's so cool.
And we're on item 3, right? Yeah, Coliseum.
That pixel, that thing is going to be gnarly. They're going to make a lot of money from that.
Minecraft Freya is going to be good.
So in 2 items, we hit 105,000. We're gonna go up to 21 items. So as I heard some people predicting like 1.5, I think that's a little more accurate than 1 million. To be honest with you, I think it'll happen.
Oh, easily.
Hi-Rez, take my money.
Freya is banned every game.
all I know
That's what happened in all my 5s. Like, as soon as Mercury's skin came out, like, everybody was playing Mercury. 80 carry Mercury, support Mercury.
Dude, I saw Sayo. I saw Sayo playing Mercury in one of the games. I was like, are you kidding me?
Everywhere. And so he just became, like, first pick, first ban, like, outside of Geb. And Geb's pretty overpowered right now.
Yeah.
So I see this happening to Freya. Every time a guy gets a cool new popular skin, like, people are going to play him, and then we're going to realize how annoying that character was, and then we're just going to ban them.
All right, so Hi-Rez Max is a concept artist.
Okay.
I just want to clarify this. Hi-Rez Max is a concept artist for Hi-Rez, obviously, hence the prefix. And he was the one with the original, that did the art.
Okay. Good to know.
Yay!
Oops.
The more you know.
Oh,
Steve
my
did
word.
Swagny, all right? Steve Sketches did Swagny. We good?
Okay.
We're good.
Deal.
We're good.
Good deal. So,
thank you to Hamthias on Twitter.
Okay, I like it. Thank you. So moving on from there, there's a bunch of other stuff. We won't go into all the little details. But I'll let you talk a little bit, Smitten, about one of the things was changed was the home screen, and then we also had the UI in-game. So did they actually have the home screen changed up in the PTS yet, or not yet?
Yes.
Okay, what were your thoughts? What was on it, and what were your thoughts on it?
Okay. Do you want the politically correct answer, or do you want the Smitten answer?
No. You can give us the Smitten answer, because that's what we do here in Smite Update.
All right.
We don't do the political stuff.
All right, so I was too busy trying to get into a game to really sit there and admire the beautifully crafted new home screen. I was just like, give me the game, I want to play Arachne. Like, that's all this was.
Okay.
Where's the airplane?
That's on F. Side. That's his air conditioner right now.
What are you talking about? No,
what are you talking about, huh? What you talking about?
Give him a hard time.
But, like,
I love it.
So yeah, I was like freaking out trying to get into a game, and I didn't really take the time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the new updates. The new UI.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
I like that you can move things around and specialize it to you the way that you want it, but like, I feel like that it kind of reminds me of WoW, like all the different like add-ons that you had for WoW, and you just spent like 7 hours trying to perfectly get your bars aligned and like have all your hotkeys assigned, and like I'm probably not gonna play with it too much. Like I just want to play Smite. You know what I mean? Like I just.
So for people that haven't,
I'll play with it.
So
I am the guy that like spends 12 hours on my WoW UI before I can play.
So for people not familiar with it, try to explain it. What is different about the new UI when you're in game? Like
your items, everything that was on the far right of the screen, which was your items and your kills, yada yada, all of that has moved to the left side.
Okay.
And that's about it. That's about all I noticed. Oh yeah, the bars at the top with all the different players and stuff, like that's different too, but the only major change that I noticed or cared about was where my items were, because I was like looking to see like how much gold I had at one point, and I like kept looking down at the right. I was like, where is it? Just tell me how much gold I have.
Back to the old school one I saw.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, well that's cool. That's cool. I mean, as long as it improves the game, I'm all for it. As long as it doesn't hinder anything or anything like that, you know.
I did, however, see that the new home screen was, it's very busy. Like, there's a lot of stuff to look at. All the people with ADHD, holla, first of all. All the people with ADHD are going to be like, oh my god, there's so many things to look at here, and then click on and look at. So, I did notice that it was very busy. Like, there are things to entertain yourselves with while you're sitting in league queue.
Okay.
9 minutes.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, what type of stuff are we seeing on there? Like are they listing like community content and esports content, or advertising certain things, or
all of it?
Really? Okay, good. I like it. I've been pushing for that for a while.
Do you want to know what the consistent theme is of the loading screen?
What is
Smite.
Oh, thank you. You are awesome.
There you go.
I knew we had intelligent people on this show. I knew it. I'm so happy they did that, because I've been pushing for it for the longest time. It's perfect advertising real estate right there for all different aspects of the game. You know, your casuals, your community base, your esports base. It's all right there. And before, they did have a little bit of it, but most of it was like a rotation of like your gods, or the new gods added, or new things added.
Buy gems.
Yeah, exactly. But now I like that. I like that. I like it a lot, because like when I loaded up like a Blizzard game or something like that, it was marketing like an upcoming tournament and stuff like that, like right there in your face, and we're marketing this community aspect and stuff. So I'm really happy they're adding that in there, because that's the stuff I want to see. I want a casual player to log into the game and see, bam, Pro League SPL on right now, or here's the schedule. Like, I think that's perfect, because I want to pull in some of those casual people to start watching that as well. So I think it's a good idea.
Word.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah.
I think the biggest, moving past the wonderful home screen, we have a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. But the big thing is items. We have 2 new items, well 3, which are really important to talk about. One is Odysseus's bow. I don't really care about first and second rank. We're not gonna do that. Odysseus's bow, 40% attack speed, which is very high.
Very.
Each basic attack has a 25% chance to
1 in 4 auto attacks. 1 in 4 plus the 40% attack speed.
Did you get zapped a couple of times with some basic attacks?
Yeah.
You seem kind of salty.
I'm still in PTSD treatment. I'm getting therapy for this item right now. So
do you think it's broken?
Safe for me to talk about
do you think it's broken? You give it
it's
straight.
Like,
what do you think?
It's like.
Anyways.
Everyone gets a Thunder Fury! Yes!
I'm looking at it like, are you kidding me? Like, oh my word.
So basically, essentially, it's 25% chance to do 50% of your total physical power. It's like a baby crit, as Cret said in chat. Smitten, you played against it. Does it hurt?
Yeah, it does. It hurts a lot. It's really annoying, too, because it's like, you didn't do anything in order to freaking have that happen. Woo! Almost got myself. Woo! I'm good. I felt it.
Good girl,
this whole time. I'm like, don't cuss, don't cuss, don't cuss. Anyways, yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot, and it's really annoying, because, like, they didn't have to do anything in order to get it, so it just happened, and I died a couple times because of it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. This on Mercury, I don't even want to talk about it. This on Shibalanki and Cupid lets them clear the lane, which I like. I like that idea. It's interesting. We'll have to see what happens when people like Osiris are allowed to buy it. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Bakasura? Or
We don't
Freya?
talk about Bakasura on this show.
Wait, not Freya. We don't talk about Baka?
I don't like Baka.
Is that the first rule of Smite Update show?
Smite Club.
We don't talk
Smite
about
Club.
Baka. But the other two big items are, this one's a branch. So they have the same first and second, if I'm not mistaken, then they branch off into the third, and those two are defensive and offensive. You have Celestial crap helm, and that is a bazillion gold. It's 3150 if I'm not mistaken. 40 magical damage, 50 physical protection. If you're crit, you cannot be crit again for the next 3 seconds and gain 40 magical power. It's 3150. I don't think it's going to be purchased too much. It's 3150. The
really
crit
expensive.
thing is nice, but it's mad expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how it interacts with Naja before you ask me. I don't know how that works, so that's interesting. And then the second one, which will be bought on virtually everybody, I'm thinking, is 30 magical power, 30 physical protection. You gain 15 magical penetration.
This
It's
is really good.
1900 gold. It's cheap as hell. Flat pen is hard for mages to get. There's not a lot of items. It's pretty much, hey, you want shard or spear? And if you're Kronos or Freya, you can think about Demo Grip. Like, that's basically what it is as a mage. So this is a second, since Focus Voidstone, RIP Focus Voidstone, since that left the game, because it offered flat penetration to mages, which was too strong, they have now introduced a different flat penetration item. We'll see how it works out. It's 1900 gold. Did you have fun playing with those on the
Yeah, I was gonna
PTS?
say, how did these items? You didn't use them?
I didn't use any of the, I didn't encounter any of those except for Odysseus's bow.
Okay.
That's the only one that I encountered. But
Did you get Mercury?
I'm still in therapy. I'm so upset with this item. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that Mercury's made you look, his first ability will be able to trigger that, because Mercury's first ability triggers on-hit effects, is a little silly. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that get nerfed. We can only hope. Next thing that I'm pretty excited about in this patch is Khan. Okay, whenever he first came out, people were like, "Oh, he sucks. Blah blah." This has been my theory all along. People don't know how to use him yet. Like, people, we haven't decided what we're doing with Khan yet. Is he Guardian, or is he more of a solo? Is he a jungle? Like, the buffs that he's gotten are interesting, and I really can't wait to see what he does, because, like, the damage output by this man is absolutely insane. I think he has so much potential, and people, you just need to do a little bit more theory crafting, a little more testing, a little more experimenting. Stop trying it for the first time and saying, "Oh, this sucks. This isn't gonna work." I just don't think people understand how to use him yet. I'm not saying that I do. I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I'm just saying they're out there. You gotta find them.
What's his
I
name?
like that mentality.
Capricorn?
Capricorn?
Capricorn.
That's what I thought it was. I mean, okay. Anyway,
Kabrakin?
Cabrakin? You gonna say it like a southerner?
Yes, because I live
Kabrakin.
so south. I live so south. I'll tell you what.
I'm in Oklahoma, so technically, just saying.
Just saying.
so I think Kabrakin is interesting.
Yeah.
He just didn't do enough. He needed more stuff. I'm 300% on the Smitten train of, like, yo, stop playing a god once and deciding that he's Garbo. That said, Kabrakin didn't really work out because of, like, DRs and low damage. And the biggest problem is the fact that he, like, calls you in advance to let you know that he's going to basic attack you. like one of his
the
abilities
delay
works
is
off of
ridiculous.
you left click and he's like, all right, dude. Boom! Like, that's how long it takes. So that's a big deal, and that's still a big deal. But I think that a lot of his damage has been upped. Basically, the scaling on Tremors was increased. Tectonic Shift now can't be killed by abilities. It's only basic attacks, which I think is huge. Its damage on the ult is huge. The Refraction Shield, you now gain instead of lose passive protections, so that's good. He went from 360 to 365 movement speed. I think that's bigger than people think. So I'm not sure.
Really
I think he needed it too.
Yeah.
I think he needed
He
it.
just felt so big and bulky. He was just kind of coming down the lane like, here I am, guys. My name is Capricorn.
Well, it was interesting because I had when I saw this, I shot a message to Kret, and I was like, "What are your thoughts on his viability now? Does this do anything for him?" And he was like, "Yeah, it helps him out, but just as you talked about, like you can anticipate everything. Everything's a little slow, especially with that build up."
This change.
Go ahead.
Basically, the old Cabrakan I said was bad. This new Cabrakan, I want to see somebody good play him before I say that. That's how I feel about this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how that works out.
I wonder how much of his he does feel kind of laggy and very bulky to move around. I wonder how much of that has to do with the effects of his abilities and his auto attacks, and how much of it actually has to do with his kit and who he is. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I've played 3 games of Capricorn maybe.
Word.
So outside of him, Guan Yu had some changes made to him. Reduced his cooldown 14 to 10 on his conviction.
On the heal.
Reduced the mana cost. The ability no longer provides protections. Do we think this helps him out a ton to make him viable at all right now?
It's a step in the right direction.
I agree with you there.
Bart put it perfectly on the patch notes. Essentially, the heal used to give you protections.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't, because the idea of healing yourself before a fight's kind of stupid.
And you can heal more often now for less mana. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, so I like it. I don't know if he's going to be picked over like Athena and stuff, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's not his heal that's the big deal about the Guan Yu's re-examination. It's Talu's assault. That's the big change. That's the one that actually matters. That's what's going to make him more viable now.
Yeah.
More playable now.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and that's the second part of the heal change.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what happened was the heal used to give you, when you healed, you used to get protections. Now you don't, and the trade-off is Tallow Assault steals protections again, like it used to. So when you're in lane, you can Tallow Assault the enemy and your creeps. You get all that aggro. Everybody punches you in the face, and you're like, "Ha-ha! I've got protections!" And then you can heal yourself after the fact, rather than
That was the best part about Guan Yu support, was the fact that he just, he would Talu's assault, the AD carry in duo lane, and then your AD carry would just boom all over them. I can't. I'm trying so hard not to cause. You would just, poop all over him because of the shredded protections. That's what made Guan Yu so much fun in duo lane. So I'm really excited to see that come back.
Yeah. Guan Yu is very exciting. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said in just how strong Athena and Geb are. Mm-hmm. I think that they're still going to be they're just the preferred guardians, and but I really like watching Guan Yu be played. I think he's fun. I think he's exciting. I think he brings a lot to the table. So you have that, and staying in the same idea of chunky bruisers, they made Hercules a little bit less chunky.
Thank God!
Why? I love playing Hercules. I love his mitigate wounds.
Of course, people who love playing Hercules loved him with his heal, but everybody
I will have to admit, when you play against him, and if he builds correctly, it's impossible to kill him sometimes. Especially 1-on-1, even if it's 2-on-1. Sometimes it takes 3-on-1 to kill this man. So they did make some changes there, if you guys aren't familiar.
Plus Divine Ruin, plus Brawler's Beatsick, plus what is it? The Creeping Curse.
Draft an Osiris just for him.
How about Habwa? Habwa is, your man, F. We saw he's actually getting a little bit a nerf here as well.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of base damage reduction. By that I mean 20 at max rank. Went from 310 to 290.
Yeah.
That's important, I guess. That's really doesn't care. I like the water spout change. It's about damn time.
I think it was needed. I agree.
Yeah, it's a knock-up that slows you. Now it doesn't slow you. It just knocks you up. Hooray. So that's a good change. It's still basically because Hebo should do as much damage as Hebo does. He is that god that's supposed to make you mad. He is the magical Loki. That's what he does. He's supposed to go, hwah, hwah, oh, and just you're dead and you're mad and break your keyboard. That's his job. If he can't do that, he doesn't really get played because that's all he can do. He's got to escape, etc. So the fact that it doesn't slow.
He's got no escape.
What?
Hebo doesn't have an escape.
He doesn't have a
Use
leap.
ult.
And the river is like...
The fact that he has 3
Yeah.
ultimates, that's his escape, is to just kill everybody.
With the amount of
and then he
damage,
gets out.
yes. That is a good point.
That's Hebo's escape.
Oh.
So we also had Callie, which I was kind of surprised. So Callie, Lash, and Destruction actually had buffs made to them, to the amount of damage. You know, granted, it was at top end 70, it was now to 75, and
minor.
on Destruction 40 to 45 per tick. So it's a per tick adjustment there, and per blade. What do you guys think that Callie really needed an adjustment? Like needed a little bit more power, or
she fell out of favor as a jungler because of like Hoombots and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that she needed a
I don't know. I think those type of junglers bring more to a team fight. I mean, I understand she just jumps in and swings away and hopes for the best. So I don't know. What do you think?
You're muted, F. There you go. Wait.
I think that she definitely needed a change, without a doubt. Kylie was just, there were just better options. She just kind of, dude, she sucked. Like, she was so bad. And the change to the stuff allows her to lane, which is scary. Apparently, everybody's okay with Mercury laning. So they want Kali to get another too.
Just stop it. Just stop. I hate this. I've been ranting about this stupid patch in the meta that has allowed for weeks. I hate it. I hate this. Freya Merc 80 carry. Don't even get me started.
Mercury solo lane.
I'm gonna break my cup. I'm so mad.
Do it. Do it. I want to see it.
I can't. I'm
So-
not so I'm just...
I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Kali was, even without the Chin's nerf, which certainly didn't help
It
her
did
out.
hurt. Yeah, it hurt.
She was in a rough spot. So she needed something. She got minor upgrades. So she got 5 damage per blade, which if you hit all 3 blades is going to be 15 damage. That's decent. Destruction, increased damage, which doesn't matter. The lash is like just enough. It's just enough. She might need another nudge at the end of the day, but balancing a character like Kali is really difficult, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm glad they only did it like 5. They didn't go like 30. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is very small.
Well, you have to,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to realize that it's
It's a small tweak.
it's per blade,
Yeah.
and she's got 3, so it's, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But she's scary. Like, whenever I see her in a game, like, I'm already, like, I'm trying to tell my team, I'm like, we need to focus her before she gets out of control and just kills all of us whenever we try to go for, like, an 8-minute Gold Fury. Like, we need to make sure that Kali is absolutely collapsed on every opportunity that we get. So, like, this minor buff may actually put her back into play, which means I'm going to have to re-explain why Kali needs to die
Can I say?
to solo queue people.
Can I say the next nerf I am so happy about, and I'm so happy we're talking about it last?
Nuwa?
Yes, I'm so happy.
Nuwa?
So, Nua's base damage lowered within her fog. 250 at top end, now down to 150. So that's a lot. That's a big deal. On top of that, Fire Shards no longer deals damage to players who were dead when Nua's activated. Okay, that's fine. So, I mean, I'm just happy about the fog, to be honest with you. Like,
The fog is nice. Now you, like, it's part of it. I mean, it's not part of the burst that is the 2-3, but the fog
it's a
did
step in the
a
right
lot of
direction,
damage.
as we said earlier. Like,
I don't know. I don't know why. Like, okay, Hi-Rez has this like here's you know, her minions, and then her fire shard, and that's all of her damage, most of her damage,
Yeah.
and then they're like, we'll just nerf the fog. Like,
They
people
do-
will be all right. They'll be satiated.
They don't want to nerf the issue at hand, so they nerf around it. This is exactly what
Right.
they're doing. So they
It's-
don't want to, you know, they don't want to.
What is that, bait and switch tactics? Is that what this is? Are they baiting and switching us?
This
Oh
is
my
a
God.
this is a typical high res nerf. They will,
Hey,
you know,
hey.
we cry about one ability or combination, and so they make the adjustment around it to see if that will fix the overall problem.
Right, and I'm totally down with that, but I think it's absolutely entertaining that that's how we approach these things. It keeps
mean,
lives interesting.
It does a lot of damage.
It does a lot of damage.
You can clear waves with it, dude.
Dude, you can clear games with it.
Dude. All right. So, let's talk about the patch
I had
overall.
a frog in my throat. Calm down, all right?
So, any last comments there? What do you got?
Yeah, basically we take a look at all the other stuff was bug fixes.
Yeah.
A lot of cool God stuff. I'm really happy to see Odin coming back. Happy to see Arachne coming back. There's no reason a character should
You say this now.
Played. Well,
chat, remember this. He's saying, I'm looking forward to Arachne's changes. This is going down in the history books because I guarantee you next week he's going to be like, oh, take Arachne out of the game.
No, I hate Arachne, and I've always hated Arachne. In fact, if you go to my damn Twitch page, I have a blurb on why I hate Arachne and Bakasura.
Okay.
But one of the things that I don't like is characters in my game that are unplayable. And PBAT does well in ranked. Well, PBAT's damn good. Like, you can make it work. There are ways to make it happen. But show me a VOD of PBAT, like, team fighting, like an Osiris or a Mercury would. It doesn't happen. Like, Arachne was just a bad pick. I'm excited that I'm excited that Hi-Rez is taking a look at characters and bringing them back when they're absolutely useless. I'm not happy that I get to see more of the Spider.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Well, overall, Smitten overall thoughts for you.
That's his lawyer stance on next week's conversation. So he can be like, well, I didn't say that I hated it or that I was looking forward to it. He took the neutral ground. Let that be noted, Chad.
We're now going to put politician F. next to his name, taking these, come on now.
Well, we have a Mr. Manager. I guess we need a politician.
Yep. What does that mean I get to be?
Secretary.
No, thank you. I feel like you're marginalizing me as a woman.
Not at all. My company, there's a man that's our secretary. He's a great guy.
I'll be the psychologist.
Psychologist? Okay, I like it. So let's go ahead and round.
I think I'm a duck.
I could.
Or something.
Don't tempt me. I have powers that you were unaware of.
Oh.
Just stop. Just go even, please.
I love it.
Why you gotta be like that? I just got scared. You gotta be. But all right. Yeah. I'm just gonna drop it. Anyway, coming on to the I really like the cool aesthetics. We got the Freya skin, which is dope. The Freya skin is just like beyond dope. Nick probably linked the level up thingamajigger in chat. Here it is again. So we got that, and then one of the cooler ones is Bacchus. Granted, you can only get it in the treasure chest, which I think is fine, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it make you better at the game? No, it don't. So you can do whatever the hell you want with it, Hi-Rez. Deal with it, bros.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that whole situation that 8 million Reddit nerds are all mad about.
I know, I saw that. I ignored it, but I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, so the Bacchus skin is dope. There's a lot of funny videos out there. I think that's cool. Steve Sketches did the card, like you said, so that's cool. You know what I mean? As long as you're not putting any sort of competitive edge behind a paywall, I don't care what you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, they're Hi-Rez is playing it right. The way things worked out. I'm looking forward to the changes. As Smitten had said, this is one of the bigger patches that we've had. A lot of God. Not only do we have a lot of God adjustments, nerfs, buffs here and there on some of the more popular gods at this point. Some of the gods that have fallen behind got adjustments too. On top of that, having some of the gods that these big reworks, I'm really happy about. People have been yelling about the Arachne, for gameplay for a while, so I'm glad that's getting changed. Odin, a little surprised, but I'll take it. I think it's awesome. So
I want Hades rework.
Do you?
I do.
I like to see Hades more defined with not only a model but also a kit rework.
Yeah, well, no, maybe not necessarily a kit rework. I like the fact that he can silence. Like back in the day, like Hades was overpowered. Like my favorite thing to do was whenever I first started playing this game was like Hades boss set duo lane, and it was disgusting because nobody bought beads back then.
You have to remember beads then too was like twice as long. Like the cooldown was like twice as long. Yeah.
But like now, I think Hades just needs a little bit of an adjustment. Maybe have something in his ultimate where like not everybody can just get out of it instantly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So there's a couple of gods that I'd like to see work. Primarily, Xbalanque. Oh dear God, needs a rework.
I like the. I don't know about Shibby. I think maybe I don't know. But I like I like the Hades. I know Jeff Hindla out somewhere is smiling because he's a Hades lover as well. But I got really excited when they nerfed his explosive damage because I figured if you nerf that, you can buff somewhere else. And I'm with you. Hades' silence is really cool. I think Hades got a cool kit. There's just like stats and numbers involved that have to change, and that's cool. I'd like to see some Hades too.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So, guys, I think that'll go ahead round out today's show. We appreciate you guys coming out to hang out with us. Once again, shout outs to Hi-Rez Studios for allowing us to host the show on their channel, twitch.tv/SmiteGame. Once again, if you guys enjoy the video version, didn't get a chance to check out the whole thing, the YouTube address is at the bottom, youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. You can view all 65 episodes on there, so please go ahead and check it out. You can go as far back as Dry Bear and I starting out the show well over a year ago. You can check that out on there. Check out how the show has progressed. Go back and see. We started right before closed beta, right before open beta. So pretty exciting to say the least. Before we get out of here, Smitten, where can people check you out if they enjoyed you being on the show today?
3 places. Twitch.tv/Smitten. I stream every single day. Second place, the place where I talk probably the most, is on my Twitter @SmittenGFG. And, of course, my Facebook fan page at Twitch. Oh, my God. Facebook.com/GameFirstGaming.
Awesome. Thank you. And F. What about you, man?
Sure. So 10 to 1 weekdays, 10 p.m. to 1 in the morning. You can spot me right here on Smite Game. Tuesdays, I do a talk show called Banzoos with my man Kurt. We have that over on Smite Central at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always find me talking about the Challenger Cup on the weekends or any other time at twitter.com/f.ny. And then you can also find me occasionally like to boot up my own stream and listen to dirty rap music at twitch.tv/fswag because I can't really get away
he's
with
one of
that on
those.
Smite Game.
Right?
Well, no, we play Pandora on Smite Game, and then we get
Dirty
Wolfie's
Ratchet playlist.
We get Wolfie's playlist on my channel.
Right?
So twitch.tv/fswag, twitter.com/f.ny, and Smite Central. I'll link that all in chat, and you can find me all up.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the show, other content that I have put together, check it out on Twitter, on YouTube, and also on Twitch/OctanePro, SCII. Feel free to go ahead and follow me over there. Furthermore, guys, if you guys are interested, check out the audio version as well, as we talked about at the top of the show. Go over to iTunes on your Android platform. Look up Smite Update. You can check it out on there. All 65 episodes are available to listen to, audio only. It's great. We got a large audience over there. Check it out. Available. A lot of people listen to it on the way to the work, at the gym, when they're in a situation where they don't have video available to them, so they should enjoy it. So check it out. We do appreciate it. Guys, make sure you guys check us out next week. We'll be back here Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, directly after the tournament. You'll be able to catch us then. And stay tuned. We'll have the Smite Talk radio show coming up next with myself and FG3000. Take care, everybody.